Mm, 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 mm. Hello, friends. I think you can see me. Yes. Look, what's behind me? Uh, look, it's like a backwards picture. Well, for me, it looks like a backwards picture of Europe. Down the on the corner is Spain, I believe. Up there, the British Isles. Right behind me is Italy. Welcome, friends, to Wake Up and Think Clearly. Um, yes, I'm sorry to say that my my mother passed away. Let's see, about 2 hours and 20 minutes ago, 5:50 a.m. Yes, I didn't get to watch her last breath because I said to myself, "Oh, she'll be okay." So I went back to bed because the nurse had called me up, had called us up to say, "Oh, looks like she's gonna go or she's gone," because she said that her breathing is is slow. It's stopping and then starting again. Like it's been like going like a lot longer than usual. Like maybe third, I'd say 10, 20, or 30 seconds, and then it would start up again. So that was a sign, and plus the other sign was the front of her foot, which we've been noticing was colder than the other one, and and now it looked like purple color. Maybe it's because of the sock, but that was on the right foot and the right leg. Seems to it was her stronger leg, but it was looking like it was colder than the left leg. Like her right leg was used to stand up. Wait a minute, let me see if I got that right. Oh, it was her left leg. Oh, the I remember now. The left leg was the leg that she would stand on to get in the car. So she was able to lift her right leg to get into the car, the SUV. So she had to lift pretty high, and we had to help her lift the leg too and kind of push her in. So she used her left leg to stand on. So for some reason, her right leg was showing the signs. It was getting colder, and it's and it started to turn purple. And someone that looked at that said, "Oh, it's because or her sock. They put their sock on it, and so we took the socks off. One of the one of our caregivers. Yeah, our main caregiver. Okay, so yeah, she passed away 5:50 a.m. February 15, 2025. She lived a wonderful life. It's very rare to see someone get such good treatment. She was the queen of the family and she kept our family together by us taking care of her. So now that she's gone, can we take care of each other? Mm, mm-hmm. That's the problem. Maybe the family will fall apart. See if anybody's joining us. I could take the background off. Let's see if I can take the background off. I'm walking the dog. Mm, I forget how to do this. Mm, it's tricky. Maybe it's in more. Background and effects. Okay, none. Okay, now. So it's a cloudy, about to rain kind of day. It's 8:17 a.m. in beautiful Lake Mary, Florida. This community is called Heathrow. Yes. In Bertacilia lived to be 102 years plus. How many months to go? Is she to make 103? It's February, March, April. Maybe in a month and a half, she'd have been 103. Oh, wait a minute. No. Okay, so let's see. I gotta help get someone sign in. Um, uh-huh. Hmm. 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 Hmm.
Namaste,
Hmm.
brother. Airo, namaste.
Namaste. Lama. Birdas Lama.
Yes. How are you?
Birdas. Birdas. Is it
Yes.
with an H or without an H? Birdash or Birdas? Or it doesn't matter.
Without H. DAS only.
Oh, dear. Okay. Birdas Lama.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for visiting.
Yeah.
and
Thank you. You too.
and
How are you doing?
how is Vikesh? Vikesh
Yeah, because
Rajas.
is getting better.
Vikesh is getting better.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. And how is Kamala?
Also, Kamala also getting better.
And how is Min Das Tamang?
Yeah, Mimdas is also, yeah, okay. He's doing
Hmm.
good.
Is he
Anyhow.
finding? Is he finding ways to make money? Like little
Uh,
job.
maybe later. Yeah, he's uh, one of his clients contacting him for Everett's base camp. Maybe, but not
Oh,
confirm.
oh, I hope so. I will pray that he gets the Everest base camp. I think I saw a little message about that in his Facebook page, and he had
Yeah.
Facebook
Oh dear. Yeah. If
company
you
on or a
yes,
page for the company. Mhm.
if it
That
if
was
it doesn't matter you, then you can help me whatever way you can. Uh, yes,
Mhm.
you can help
Yes.
him whatever way you can if you don't mind. Maybe for
Mhm.
uh, Facebook page or something like advertisement or any way,
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
way for the
Mhm.
clients to contact more.
Oh, yes. So if I go to Facebook now, I will see how it works. Let's see. I go to screen. Start now. Now I can see what's on my phone, and I go to Facebook, and then I can type meme. Let's see. Oh, look, there's meme das tamang. Look,
Yeah.
wow, look at that guy with the mountains in the back for hiking.
Yes. Yeah.
Hiking guide. Wow, I wish to do that one day
Yes.
if
You are
I
welcome.
have money
Yeah.
and have
Or
time.
you can, if it is possible, then you can recommend your friends or relatives or your close friend or any country, friends from your Facebook. You can write some article or something
Look,
and share on your Facebook page
there
or Twitter, something like that.
it says that Mim Das Tamang is with
Yes.
Marie, Christine, Bellino, and seven others. Wow. At
Yeah. Yeah.
the amazing, authentic trek.
Yeah. So
WU
this is
agent.
yeah.
And it says that they had they have great memory of the trip. The
Yes. Yes.
trek.
Before.
Wow. Wow. Hello, my friend, dearest friend. Could you please help me? I need your great help to improve my life at village.
Yes.
And then if I hit this, it goes to GoFundMe.
Yeah. He has
Oh,
GoFundMe.
oh, maybe I can send him a few dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. This is
Mhm,
his Facebook.
mhm. Wow.
French. Yeah. This is in French language. French and
Friends,
both
they have
Haitish
raised,
and yeah.
they have raised 450 euros. And they
Yes.
hope to raise 5,000. And they have 9 donations.
Yes.
Mhm. How does this work?
Yeah.
Mhm. Donate. Oh, oui.
Yes.
Oh, 50 is too much for me. Maybe I can send,
Yeah.
maybe I can send 10.
Okay.
Maybe I can send 10. Or let's see. Let's try, let's try PayPal.
Okay.
Let's see. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. I, I hope I remember my PayPal. Hmm.
Mom, very. Oh, that's you. That's you.
I'm going to go to my I'm going to go to my email. Oh no. Not that one. I'm going to go to my email. Where's my
Yes.
other email? Here it is. AOL. Hmm. I'm going to go here and here. Let's see if I got an email. Hmm. 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 It hasn't arrived yet. Hmm. Maybe I have to wait a little bit. Hmm. 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 Or maybe I have to go back and hit this. Hmm. Oh, they sent it to my phone number. Mm-hmm. Oh, 735-509. Mm-hmm. Now I can pay with Jimmy. Let's see. I send a little bit of money to the trekking. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yay!
Gone.
Copy the link and put it in Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. 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 This help master trekking guide in Das Tamang. Mm. To continue, continue, wait, to continue, 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 oh, continue, wait, to, wait, to continue his specialty, specialty, uh-huh, taking, taking newbies up the mountain. Mm, mm, Everest base camp. Mhm. Next, mhm, friends. Oh, somebody's Zoom waiting to join us. Back. Help, friend. A friend wants to join us. Let's see. Dawn.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, she's buying a house, so it's very difficult for her to have any money left. But she would gladly send money. Let's see. Hmm.
माथि बिचमा उडेको बेला पऱ्यो भए सिद्धिने तलै
Mhm.
पडिरहेको के अरे चढ्दाखेरि हुनु पनि अनि ठिक हुन्थ्यो
Mhm. Yes, I'm trying to let Dawn join us. Mm. No, no, no,
Oh,
no,
namaste.
no.
Dan,
Good morning.
good morning.
Hi,
How are
everybody.
you? Yeah, namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, Dawn. Thank you for joining us
Excellent.
because we were pretty bored just looking at each other.
Oh, I'm sorry I'm late. I saw there was supposed to be a topic today.
Really? Oh, oh, I'm late. I joined around 8. Maybe Rami put a topic.
Yeah, he put a topic for 8 o'clock, and I've been tied up doing other things, but yeah, I wanted to join what the topic was. It said, what did it say? Compare notes on life.
Oh, okay. Let's compare our notes. me contact Rami and says that we're here.
Yes.
I
Let
could
him
try
know.
Messenger.
Yes.
I,
Want me to send him a message?
you could too.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find him on Messenger. Uh, maybe he tried to join, but he couldn't because I hadn't started yet.
Could be. I just
Let's
told
see.
him, come to the meetup Zoom.
I can't find it. I can't. What is it? Is it? Oh,
He said, oh, all right. He's coming.
oh. My mother. Mm, mm, right. Mm, 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 mm. There. Mm, mm. Okay. Uh,
How are you, Dash?
Yeah, I'm fine, but children are. I told you last time that my children, they were sick. Now they are getting better,
Oh, good.
mm,
and still, I need to buy some medicine
Right.
for them.
That's good, though, that they're getting a little bit better for now until you can, get something for them.
mm, mm, mm.
Oh,
Oh.
Rami, brother Rami, namaste.
Mm.
Namaste,
Good
brother
morning,
Yeah,
mommy.
Bertas. Namaste,
Namaste.
brother Hyro.
Oh, Rami, thank you for joining us.
I
It's
came to compare notes with you, Rami.
nice. Thank you, Rami. Mm,
So how are
thank
you feeling?
you. Mm. Wow. A turn of events just happened this morning. My mother passed away.
Oh, no.
I was thinking, oh, she'll get better later on today, and we'll try to see if we can feed her because she hadn't been getting any food for a few days, and she was having a hard time at night, the last night. So this night, they upped the doses of morphine, I guess, to double.
Oh.
That'll do it. No, but she left very peacefully. She was breathing good. Like yesterday, last yesterday she was breathing with like a tiger. Like when exhaling, it was making this rumbling sound, or like she got a lot of what is it called mucus in her
Mucus.
in there. So we the nurse said that we're gonna not allow you to give her any food, and we're gonna up the dose of morphine, see if that gets rid of that. And it got rid of that sound, but it got rid of her too.
Oh, but you sound very at peace with this. You sound like you you're ready to let her go.
Yes, it was wonderful. Yes,
Um,
my sister was woken up around 4 in the morning because the nurse said, "Oh, she's got apnea breathing, and so she stops breathing for many seconds, like 10 or 20 seconds, and then it starts again." So this
Mm.
and so waking you up to go see how it's going. And then and she laid next to her and it didn't happen anymore. Say, oh, she's fine now because maybe because touching her makes her come back because she was ready.
Oh.
But by us being around her, she got breathing stable, and so I said, oh, she'll be okay. So we went back to bed, and then the nurse called us back again around 6 to get to show that she had expired,
Oh.
and so we and announced it around the world. Well, around their family members stuff.
Yes.
Mm, mm.
Sorry,
And so
sorry, brother Hiro. Sorry, I did not listen due to the poor connectivity of internet. Uh, Tell me
yes,
about your
my
mother.
my mother expired, died this morning.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. Oh,
Thank
the
you.
and it shocked my the news shocked my heart. I'm very sorry to hear about your mother's demise. Your this morning.
Yes, about hmm,
Oh,
hmm,
oh.
maybe 3 hours.
It's a very shocking news for me and my family, brother Hiro.
Mm, yes, yes,
And
I
I would
can.
like to we we would like to extend our heartfelt condolence for your mother to rest in peace and heaven on the lap
Mm,
of and
Jesus on the lap of Jesus. Yeah,
yeah,
she's
yeah.
Catholic, and so we put a cross on her and a Virgin Mary next to her, and pictures of her husband next to her,
Yeah,
and her brother and mother next to her, and took pictures of that.
yeah. And
Mm,
I would like to extend my heartly sympathy for you and your family to tolerate in such a uh, sorrowful situation, my brother Hiro.
thank you, brother. Birdas Lama. Mhm.
Wow, her life was one to celebrate.
Yes, she lived 102 and
Two
maybe
years, right?
102 years plus 10 and a half months or so. She would have been 103 in April 11. Hmm. She didn't make it, but that's okay. she, she
Did she
probably should
go
have
lessons all the
died.
way up to the end?
Hmm. Yeah, we were probably making her suffer more by trying to make her live longer.
Yeah, that's amazing. Her length of age, her length of time here, and also amazing that you are mature enough to know it's time to let her go. That's
And
wonderful.
she's in an awesome place. She's
Yeah.
got a light body of a 16-year-old, and she
Yeah.
could zoom to wherever she wants to. I think I'll go visit where I grew up in Fresno, Tolima, Colombia. And she goes, "Zoop. Oh man, the town's changed. It's grown. There's so
Yeah.
much traffic, a lot of bicycles, bikes. Everybody having,
Tell
those
her to come and visit me in Inverness.
in Inverness. I'll go visit Dawn now. She's going to visit you in Inverness. Let's see if
Thank
there's
you,
any.
Mom.
Let's see if there's any strange phenomena out this morning. Oh, there's a rainbow. No, not quite. But there's the sun. It was real cloudy, and now the sun is coming up. Hmm.
Thank you, Mom.
Hmm. Hmm. Mhm. Yeah, she raised uh, four children and one naughty boy at the end. I'm the youngest. Yes, and so sorry, mom, for making you suffer, for being so disobedient and all that. Yeah, yeah. And, and my sister Sylvia, she did an awesome job of taking care of her to the end. Mhm. And the caregiver that was with us took care of her for the last 8.5 years. Hmm. And she's the one that was crying the most. She learned a lot from her. She would take her out, and like didn't like to stay in the house with her, so she would take her out, drive her to places, and had a good time, like parks and stuff. Hmm. Ribbon. Hmm. She got COVID twice, and the last time uh, she got pneumonia. Maybe that brought her down even more. Yeah, she got COVID in the last 2 or 3 years. Yeah, first time, and then when I got COVID, she got COVID. So maybe I gave it to her, or she gave it to me. But she recuperated faster than I did. So she had stronger defenses than I did. I ended up in the hospital for 10 days. That was 2021. Hmm. Mhm.
Amazing.
Mhm. And, hmm, amazing. Hmm.
What do you attribute it to? I mean, genes, having family around who care and love and support.
Hmm. Wow.
Early teaching in her life.
Who was who was more fortunate, she or us? Or both. We were fortunate to have her and keep us preoccupied with her for the last maybe 8 or so years. Well, she was always living with my sister the last maybe the last 20 years. Hmm. Oh, I used to live with her by myself in Weston, Florida. Hmm. Oh, that was 25 years ago, and she could drive. Oh, she became a widow. She became a widow 21 years ago or so. Yeah, in Florida, Western Florida, South Florida. That's Broward County near Sawgrass Mall, big mall. Hmm. 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 Oh. Mhm. Mhm. Oh, Valentine's Day was yesterday. Mhm. Oh.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, so let us know if you need anything, Hyro. If you need help or if your family needs anything, you know, just reach out. We'll all do what we can, you know.
So, thank you. Mhm. Thank you for visiting. I started Zoom around 8:30 because I was pretty busy with the ones that were there. My sister, the caregiver, her husband, and then our cousin that lives nearby showed up.
Yeah.
But everybody else that could show up would have to drive long distance to get here to see her be taken away or something. But that was okay. We took pictures and sent them
Yes.
with her mouth closed and pictures around her bed. She looked nice. She looked resting in peace. They've probably taken her body by now. So she's looking over me and the family. Hopefully, the family continues to stay together and not be so annoyed at each other. Sometimes they get annoyed at each other for things, little things, silly things.
Yeah, it's a difficult time, but that's what I'm going to do is send prayers for the family heart to be at peace and oneness.
Oneness, oneness, or multiplicityness,
Oneness.
unitedness,
Yes.
United Statesness,
No, not United Statesness. Unitedness.
united peopleness.
United familyness.
United we stand, divided we fall.
Yes.
Isn't that the motto of the state of Kentucky? United we stand, divided we fall.
Oh. And what are you doing? Are you at the park or are you walking the dog? What are you doing? Oh, yes, you're walking the dog. Does the dog know, you think? Does she know?
She was she was she always followed me. She was sleeping with me, and she followed me wherever I went. And so I lifted her up to show her that Bertacilia is now discarded her body. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm,
Wow.
yeah. So family all over the states. There's my sister's daughter in California. Mm. Uh, my another sister's daughter, the oldest sister, the oldest one that passed away in 2018. Her daughter lives in Colorado.
Mm.
And then another of her sister, another of my sister that passed away, daughter lives in New York City,
Mm.
Harlem. Wow. She makes a living walking rich people's dogs and other gigs. Wow. That must be expensive to live in Harlem. So she must charge hundreds of dollars just to walk a dog. She walks maybe 10 dogs a day.
Oh.
I'll go this way. I can't go through the no. No, Naya was nice. She didn't bark back. Sometimes she likes to bark back, but I'm trying to
Mm.
train not to bark back at dogs that bark at her.
Mm-hmm.
She likes to. She looks at a dog and the dog looks at her, and then if one of them moves, it's like see who moves first for a fight, and so they
Yeah,
start
like a standoff.
stand up, and so I yank on her collar, which doesn't hurt her neck too much,
Right.
just like to
It's to
say,
get her attention to snap out of it.
so she's getting better.
I'm doing the same thing with my dogs. My oldest dog, Evie, the white one, she likes to bark at any noise. She doesn't want anybody or anything outside. She does not want the wind to blow. She doesn't want the trees to move. She gets very upset at any other animal making a noise. If a bird is tweeting, she says, "Be quiet." She gets upset. At first, I thought she was communicating in a happy way, but then I realized she was mad because she would go, "Woof,
Wow.
brr." I said, "Evie, don't get mad at life."
She doesn't want anything bothering you. So she's
Yeah, or
defending
her.
her.
Yeah.
Paranoid. Maybe she's nearsighted and thinks that what she sees or hears is some other dog.
It could be, yeah. It could be. And now the puppy, which didn't do that, now the puppy is doing it. The other day, I saw the puppy go to the sliding door, and she looked towards the neighbor's house, just like Evie does, and to see if the neighbor is out. And if the neighbor is out, they will bark. Of course, our door is closed, so it's loud. They're yelling, "Get in the house," to the neighbor or something like that. And I said, "Opal, don't look outside if it's going to make you mad."
Hmm. Hmm.
Our dogs do the same thing, Don.
Oh, really?
Like, that 10-year-old's supposed to be out there playing.
Right. Like, go out, enjoy life. No, they want to be laying down. They want everything to be quiet. They think the outside is only for them. I said, "Evie, the neighbors was here before we moved here."
Yeah, but don't those other creatures know that they mark territory?
Of course, the territory was marked by the other creatures before we moved here.
Doesn't matter. They were the last ones.
Maybe
Now I see the reasoning.
maybe your dog is counter marking, like
Yes.
gaining. It's a war for territory. What we need is a god for the dog that is socialist and wants all dogs to own everything.
Yeah,
Nobody,
Is that
because
socialist?
Evie,
I thought socialism was all owned by the state.
oh,
well, owned
Depends
by
on your definition there.
the dog is backwards for God. So the
yeah,
God
yeah.
wants everyone to own everything equally.
And
No,
Evie thinks everything that's within her earshot is her space. So that's a long distance.
Mm,
You guys
competition.
want to go outside? Okay, they heard me talking about them, so I'm going to let them go outside so they can yell at nature.
Maybe a leaf falls and it starts barking at the leaf.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay, you guys want to go outside? Okay, let's go.
Is that a learned behavior for human beings? Because I know that we can get loud over what we think is right.
That's true. That's true.
Mm. Is it a learned behavior or is it innate? Mm.
Right. Great question.
And
What's
is
the
it
origin?
in science, in neuroscience, and genetic science find the gene that activates it, and we give them a drug that deactivates it or keeps it from being triggered, so that all humans become more like cats, maybe.
Well, you're familiar with the epigenetics, the thought or the idea that environmental factors can actually switch on and off genes.
Epigenetics, the idea that environmental factors can do what?
Can switch on and off genes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So there might be a gene that causes humans to be territorial like dogs.
That was also part of the Theosophic 19th century writings. They thought that they would breed better humans towards specific ends.
Oh wow! I'll have
Right.
to.
Now, what if gene therapy is there in order to just continue that mission?
What if gene therapy is there in order to continue that mission? If those
Evolution of humanity.
theosophists take a hold of gene therapy, then they'll make us docile or something, or do whatever they wish to us.
In the 20th century, right, a lot of Asian cultures tend to be more so. And they
Maybe
also the highest in population.
vaccines, yes. They'll make us
Well, you don't have to go too far or deep into any sort of rabbit hole or spiritual
word,
theory, but
then they'll ban a channel, they'll take it off YouTube.
yeah, that's one of the things that's been floated.
We're just discussing things from
That's right. We're not making any conclusions.
education,
Others have said, and we're neither affirming nor denying.
sociological standpoint for studies, yes. So do not remove this video and then go ahead and remove the whole channel. I better save all the goes through download a little.
I was doing I'd sent a couple of texts yesterday to do through my Google Voice, and I ran into this was not sent due to acceptable use policy.
Wow.
These were texts.
Wow.
Yes.
How did you enter them, by hand, or did you voice to text?
I had to rewrite and edit. So suddenly even private text between a father and son now is under editorial review.
Yeah, when what are you using? Google what?
Google Voice. Yes.
Google Voice. So you voice it out and then edit it?
No, I don't use voice to text. I type it. I tend not to carry a phone, but I access and do all my phone calls and texts through a web browser, and that's also how I pick up my voicemail through the web browser.
Oh, it reads it out to you?
It does a voice to text poorly, about as well as YouTube does voice to text, which has produced some rather humorous texts. One of them during the pandemic translated my daughter's high school, or maybe it was her middle school at the time, automated telephone voicemail, and said, if your child is sick or dead, do not bring them to school.
Mm-hmm. What?
Or dead.
Or dead. Yes, that's how it translated the automated message.
No wonder you got blocked.
2021 or 2022.
It interpreted a voice message into that.
Yes.
Whose voice was it? Maybe it misinterpreted some word.
Yes.
Or it gave a summary.
Yes.
I don't know. Anyway.
Yeah. You know, the promise of digital technology was that it would be able to produce perfect copies, but it turns out a lot of CDs degrade over time, and also some of those algorithms for capturing and transmitting or transcribing are lossy, so data still winds up getting lost and corrupted with time.
Wow.
It takes a lot of effort to actually preserve text in its original form.
Wow.
Hyro, keep an eye out because Dom said that he was going to come in. I sent him the Zoom link.
Dominic Tersigni from
Wow.
Toronto. Oh, this will spice up the meeting.
Yeah, it's like you invited Tahine to show up and sprinkle itself.
Oh, and we lost Berdash. Berdash. Is his name Berdash or Beardash?
I don't think that the S is pronounced. At least I haven't heard it pronounced.
Oh.
Sorry, not S, but H.
Oh, Das.
But
Beardash.
he was having connectivity issues as well.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh. Guess who's in the house? We were talking bad
Someone's
about
materializing. It's Dominic.
Dominic. Long time no
Yeah,
see.
that's fun.
We missed you. Where you been? Wow.
My condolences for your mother moving on.
Oh, my mother passed away this morning. About 4 hours ago? No, maybe 3. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, almost at 6 a.m. So it's 9. So 3 hours and some minutes ago, she left us. And we're happy for her, but we're sad for us because we enjoyed her company, even though it was a lot of work to maintain her uh, stable and stuff. Yes, it was hard work amongst my sister, caregiver, me, and others, and sponsorship from my brother, their company, I believe. And so I've been busy this morning sending out messages in a photo or two. Yes, this morning. Yes, this morning, the nurse got my sister out of bed to show her that her breathing is very poor, and she would stop breathing and then start again. So that and her foot, one of her foot was very cold and purple, so there's no blood going there. So the signs that she was going to go. But then it stabilized, maybe because we gave her a massage and talked to her. So she came back. And then, oh, she's okay. She'll be okay today. So let's go back to bed. That's what I thought. And so I went back to bed. But then, I heard some noise. And so I went back and so I saw my sister saying she's gone. Oh, wow. Surprised. Wow.
And was she already cremated, brother Jairo, your mother?
She's going to be cremated. They took her today, about an hour ago. They took the body, not her, the body. I like to think.
Yes.
A new body. She's got a light body. She can transparent kind of holographic body. She can
Yeah.
go at will because light goes very fast, and it's
Then
very energetic. I would say. It goes through walls.
how is cremation done in your country?
No, I don't know, but they have high technology, and maybe they put it's like an oven, and they turn it up, and it high temperatures, and it has a little window you can look inside to see that it's being done.
And
Thing
uh,
ashes,
the,
maybe a little bit of bone. Maybe
and
I
the
could.
family and your family members like you, then your sister, you don't need to go there for the cremation.
Oh, some families like to do that. Maybe we didn't think of that. Maybe Hindus like to do that. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, in Hindu culture, yes, the family members, relatives, all all will participate in the cremation ground.
Oh wow. And it's outside, I suppose. I seen pictures. They do it near the river.
Yeah, in the river. In Hindu culture, yes, the
Gandhi.
death body is taken to um, river and
River.
make a like a funeral pyre, funeral pyre. They make funeral pyre of the woods and burnt in Hindu
Mm.
culture.
How do you do it in Nepal, in Nepalese culture?
Yeah,
Same?
in Nepalese culture, when person dies, then all the relatives and family members who are living in different places, they are informed first. They are all informed, and they will all come to the place where the person dies. Then the death body is made clean,
Mm. And then they put it up.
and change the clothes. They are change the new
Oh.
clothes, and
Mm.
invited the priest
Mm.
for the mantra of the death body. Then only after that, then taken to the river
Mm-hmm.
for burning.
Mm-hmm.
In,
Wow. Nice.
in Arabic culture, somewhat similar. This is western side of Asia. The closest relatives. So my father and his brother, they gave
Yes.
their father a bath when he died, and then they dressed him in a white cloth and they set him down into the ground.
But
was-
again, there are some, yes, like that is what I said just now is according to the Hindu culture. But
Right.
my culture is different again. In my culture and my caste, the death body when person dies not taken to the river.
Mm. But it's
Uh,
cremated.
yeah, hill, on the top of the hill. In my
Mm.
culture,
Makes sense.
just before I said
Territory.
Hindu culture, my culture is not in the river, on the
Yeah.
hill.
It's cremated?
Yeah, it is cremated, but on the top of the hill,
A high
not in
high
the river. Not in the
Mhm.
river. In
Well,
my
you have
culture, my caste.
plenty of high places. So
Yeah.
maybe it's high place. Don't want to smoke. Go down the valley.
Yeah.
And in some Tibetan cultures or
Yes.
people can afford it,
Yes.
they have sky burial. They get some lamas to or experts to do it all the time. That they carefully uh, cut the body parts, even the bones, into little pieces, and they put it out for the vultures to gobble up. And so now
Oh, yeah.
in the sky.
In the Tibetan, yes, you are right. In the Tibetan culture, yeah, it's
Well,
different.
so people that are very poor, they might just throw it in a hole and throw rocks on it if you
In
can afford.
Western culture, we tend to be segregated away from death, separated so that we don't mature or don't come to understand. We're taught that we live forever and we're here to consume, and that you'll
Mhm.
never die. And it keeps us sort of in that continual buying process, I think.
Denial.
Denial of
Oh.
death, right?
Oh.
You've read that.
Yes,
One
I
of
read it.
our early regulars, Luis del Pino, his job in life was he supervised a factory that made crematoriums, the ovens in which the remains of people are burned in.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he's very busy making sure that everything works with his clients, I guess. and trying to sell a few more. Well, I guess if he sells one, that's a good 80,000. Maybe he gets a bonus of 5,000 or something.
I found it interesting that early in the pandemic and throughout that that the demand was high and that he was very busy.
He was very busy during the pandemic. Wow. Yes. And maybe when we go to a third world war where we have more
Somehow you went mute.
keep him very busy.
Whatever
Oh,
you
your
said was
signal
wrong.
is bouncing, Hyro. We can't hear you.
Is the wind? Mm. Mm. How's that?
Your voice is back.
That's no better.
There was an episode of Star Trek, the original series, where a people were two sets of people, and they were in a centuries-long war that they had automated by computer the death tolls, and then if someone was chosen by lottery to be part of the casualties of the dead, they'd go into a death chamber, and that's how they preserved their peace and their culture and their civilization. So the civilization would continue to flourish and develop technologically, but their societal practice, all this was at the cost of, and even the chancellor of one of the sides, his own daughter, was calculated and determined to be one of the dead in their computer simulated war that had been going for centuries, and she was to go into the chamber and be dissolved away.
Mm.
I've seen other movies or shows that have a similar kind of result, you know, when dealing with death, where the person goes away, which is pretty much what happens, right, in real life, because the body goes away, but we who we are, we go on and back to consciousness, right?
Well, if you're looking for a support of your belief system, you can have it. I also know people who have no faith in an afterlife and think that once their physical body dies, that they disappear. That's part of the human population too.
Mm. It's
Now, they could be wrong and suffering as a result, but it's interesting the degree to which beliefs affect outcomes in societies and cultures.
So the leaving of our spirit or soul from the body is considered afterlife to some people.
Well, they just don't buy it, is what it comes down to, and that's been true for thousands of years.
Mm-hmm. So they think we just stop existing.
Right.
Ah,
And therefore, they have no faith.
they believe they are the body. I see.
Right. Yeah.
Ah, okay. Yes, yes, yes.
So
So
they'll
it's a little-
use the body, or they'll try to maximize whatever pleasures they can have.
Mm.
And there are beliefs that when you do that, you end up having a very short existence, and also one that can be, and I think it's been proved out by history, ultimately non-beneficial to the rest of the species.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm. Oh. So
Oh, Dominic put a long message in the chat.
let's see. Oh, wow. That's right. Interesting. Thanks, Dominic. Mm. Big hugs to Don and Rami and Dash. Big hugs to Dom. Thanks for joining us for Notes from the Current Life. What's the topic? Something like that? Notes from Life? Yeah, that's the topic for every episode. And maybe we'll work on Notes from the Afterlife. Oh.
I suspect Hyro's on a 5G phone. In the upper right-hand corner, does it say 5G or 4G?
Aha. It says 5G and it has a lot of bars.
Yes,
Maybe
it has
it's
a lot of bars, but they're red instead of green. And I suspect you've walked away from wherever your local 5G tower is. It's supposed to be higher bandwidth, but it doesn't have as much range as the prior 4G technology.
no. It's my bars everything, all my notifications are white. There's a battery icon that's colored red, and I'm at 11%. Oh my goodness.
That could have an effect too. You better get back before too long. Are you walking a dog?
Mhm. Oh,
Beautiful. Impressionist algorithmic. This is as good as the phone's going to be able to transmit under the amount of battery that it has.
Oh, wow. Mm. 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 Oh, look, there's Ezekiel in the background. Oh, oh. The other day we were reading from
7 days when you stop asking that question.
Ecclesiastes.
Ecclesiastes?
Ecclesiastes. 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 That's a interesting book. It's kind of outstanding. Where did it come from? Who wrote it? What was he thinking?
Colette?
From
Did
the
you
Bible?
Stoke Dan is doing a Friday night on that. We just had our second week. It's going to go all the way through March 7th. So we have the next two sessions on the 21st and on the 28th will be we're reading the back half of the book. We've already done the first half. It's 12 chapters, 3 chapters of a Friday night. Yes. That's right.
What do you think of that book?
The book addressed to the congregation?
The Ecclesiastes?
There's a lot to think of. It's any one line is a great line. I think it's like that. One of our people who was a judge by profession, she was wondering because there have been parallels between Ecclesiastes and Proverbs. I think they both fall under there 3 categories of books in the Old Testament. There's the law of Moses for 5 books, the Torah, and then there's the prophets, which are throughout the whole rest of the Old Testament. And then interspersed between these 2 other types is a third category, which are the writings, of which Ecclesiastes falls into.
Wow. So someone actually sat down and wrote it.
Well, sure. I mean, the entire thing has been sat down and written, and then copies have been done throughout the centuries and millennia. Well, at least the centuries. By way of the Dead Sea Scrolls that 100 years before Jesus' time, most of those Old Testament books existed. because of the actual written copy. And it's in some ways it's verifying that so much of what's found in a contemporary copy is so much alike compared to then. But then there's also additional parts that the Essenes had in their version. So maybe some things got lost in the versions that we have that were then found in that discovery back in the late 1940s.
Which one? Nag Hammadi or Dead Sea Scrolls?
Let's see.
Wow. Hmm. Hmm. And Ecclesiastes, is that the name of the person, or it means something?
Well, it's written. The author uses the name Solomon, but
Wow.
then by the end of the book, he talks outside of Solomon. So really it's not specifying saying specifically it's that person, but rather he's a teacher who lived in that sort of life or has had that sort of perspective, but then it could have been a counselor or tutor, could have been a person appointed to speak on his behalf. But it's addressing to the whole congregation, which is in that case the people of Israel in the context of the book. There's a wonderful overview of the book of Ecclesiastes and all the books actually of the Bible when you get a Bible project on YouTube. You get a nice breakdown. And there are other people who've done similar works, but Bible Projects is animated, so it sticks and I think transmits and communicates more easily.
Mm. Mm. Yes. How do I feel about my mother passing away? Or no? How should I phrase it? About my mom moving on. That sounds cool. Moving on. Yes, I sort of was always thinking, oh, maybe we could get her get her better too, or not let it get worse. But this was it this morning or last night? No, yesterday. Yes, I remember yesterday before I went to do groceries, I was given the task to to what's the word when you give morphine to check? No, it was through a little what's that thing that you fill up with liquid and you push it out? Syringe. Yes.
Right.
To administer. That's the technical word. I want to sound technical and intelligent. So yes, I was given the task to administer morphine. And we had been giving her as needed. Maybe, and I always tried at night to give her as little as possible, even if she suffered some. Because when you give her, then she stops suffering and maybe, but it was to get her to breathe better because she was breathing. Oh no, but when breathing out, it was sounded like a snore the other way around. I can't make that sound. And so I was given the task to give her double the dosage. We had been giving her the minimum, and I even what had been practiced already in it. Yeah, it was either the caregiver or the nurse or me, but and I had done it before, and I cheated the first time I did it. Instead of 5 milligrams, is it? Yeah, the first line, the minimum. I gave her 4 or 3. But this time they told me now we're gonna double it from 5 to 10. So should I cheat again and give her 8? No, this time I won't cheat. I'll give her all 10. And so that helped settle her down. And then the nurse gave her another 2 more at night, maybe around 1 and at around 3 or so in the morning. Because she was getting very anxious. Yes. And no, not just anxious, she was not breathing well. Like breathing kind of fast and from the stomach, kind of gasping kind of breath. I don't know, pushing it out kind of breath. I don't know. It's weird. That you could see her stomach going up and down, down very deeply though. So when you administer the morphine, then the breathing gets maybe a little bit slower and less noticeable. But maybe it got too noticeable or too too maybe calm. And so this morning the nurse woke my sister up and said, "Oh, she's really breathing real slow, like she's stopping breathing for many seconds. Like it's called an apnea." And so my sister got next to her in bed, and so the breathing got better or more. She came back to breathing, but still very shallow breathing. But she wasn't suffering, and then I came up, and then the caregiver came up, and her husband, they were sleeping with us, and we talked to her and trying to get her to say saying some nice words of wisdom, like the Tibetan Book of the Dead says, try to guide person towards the light, or to the Catholic version would be go to Jesus or something like that. And so, but she was breathing better now, so we went back to bed. But then the nurse called us back again, maybe a half an hour later, to tell us, oh, she's definitely gone now. That was around 6 a.m. So, wow, we couldn't believe it. I was thinking, oh, this today, well, I'll see if we can feed her something like liquid if she hadn't eaten in a day or two. Some electrolyte or something to keep her, because she looked very thin. And her right leg was very, very cold. Yeah. So those were some signs that she was going to go soon. So maybe instead of going back to bed, I should have stayed there and whatever it takes to see. I wanted to see her last breath. But I didn't get to. Darn it. Oh well. I got to see my father's last breath, and then my mother sob when she realized he'd gone. So yeah, my sister was kind of surprised too that she'd gone, and the caregiver cried more than we did. And then I didn't. Maybe I was trying to cheer everybody up. Yeah, everybody cheered everybody up, like saying she's gone to a better place and things like that. She'd suffered so much the last few weeks. Oh, and she had overcome pneumonia maybe 2 months ago. But she started suffering more and more like the beginning of this month. So we had her on hospice at home, and we got a hospital bed. They could move around, so we didn't have to take her to the bathroom, because we were taking her to the bathroom, having her walk to the bathroom, but now we didn't have to. But
Well, can I get one of those beds? Can I get one of those beds?
Okay, I'll tell them to send it over to where you live. Oh, maybe through the service called Vitas, but maybe they handle persons that are about to die. Like it's like hospice at home kind of service.
Please send us a link. I'd like to learn about this thing.
Oh, Vitas.com. VITAS.com. Yeah, they're very good. And the cemetery is very good. They're close by. That's where my sister and her husband are buried. But instead of burying her, we decided to cremate her. Save some money. Have to put her on her.
And your father, was he buried or cremated?
He wanted to be cremated too, and we took her ashes and got on a boat. I hope we get to keep some of the ashes, he took her his ashes and dumped it into the ocean, a distance away from Fort Lauderdale Beach, on a yacht that we rented, a small yacht. One of the persons got seasick. I was standing on the deck, listening to Bob Marley, singing. Yes, but yeah. Yeah.
Jarro and others, why do you think they said in the Bible about things like the flesh and blood? Fight against flesh and blood.
Which part is that? Because I remember from dust you are, and dust you shall return. I'm not sure where except maybe in cases of talking in terms of the crucifixion.
Yeah, usually people don't realize how much you're fighting against principalities. So flesh and blood is obviously the vessel, and blood is memory. So
Right.
a lot of rituals.
Flesh and blood. 6th chapter of Ephesians. I see. Thank you. Yeah, so much of it is spiritual, isn't it?
Yeah, and usually the ones that are saying that, whether we say it or not, we're talking from the abomination part. People might call demons. So in this case, there's a lot of rituals set up for the vessel and memory. This is why we have first and second death. Some people will be attached to the vessel. A lot of people become attached to the thoughts. So when we have memories of something that's encased in a vessel, it'll tell us. And of course, Jarro, you've learned a little bit about Buddhism, about attachments. One of our main suffering is not about resistance to pain, even though some of us have to experience it. It's our attachments to comforts and pleasure. This is why the heart's usually wicked. Blood goes to it, memory. So this is where we get pride and desire. Most of those sin is based on the heart. Now we have two other brains, the upper brain and the lower brain, the gut brain. But for us, we have to remember there's blood flowing throughout the body, and it's memory. It's like water. It has memory. It can shapeshift. So when we start worrying about when something was encased in the vessel, like spirit, does spirit need blood? Probably not. Does it need the breath of life? Maybe, hence why we use the word afterlife. In the tarot, the death card just means transformation. So the first death is you transform and realize you're not the vessel. And then you have to transform and realize, but I wasn't even the thoughts. I said, yeah, because you had to learn those thoughts. That's why, some people use the word moving on or giving up the ghost, G-host. In biblical story, they talk about the gods resting. Why did they rest? They want to probably play around with their creation. Hence the term illusion. Well, it's not the term illusion, Maya or whatever. So your mother probably had a beautiful existence while she was in this form, had an opportunity to form a lot of attachments or non-attachments, and she's moved on. Yeah. This is why they talk about Adam. Adam had a physical experience. Once he passed away, he's in the spiritual. He's still here, hence good and evil. One's immortal, one's mortal. I'm just using words here, guys. We can interchange the words.
Thanks. Moving on. Wow. That is hard to do, to move on, to let go of things.
Yeah, it's stuck.
Oh my goodness. Do I have a lot to let go in my storage? Last night I went to the storage and thinking, okay, maybe I'll move books that I don't want over to this corner and books that I want over to that corner. Even the books that I don't want, even though are pretty interesting, it's okay if I can give it away to the thrift shop, to the thrift store, or something like that. I mean, some of them could sell on Amazon, but it takes too much time to put them on there.
We have a lot of stuff. We consume a lot of stuff. Hence why some people, when they get Alzheimer's, they're actually getting a gift, whether they're not aware of it or not. You're able to delete a lot of your programs. We like to accumulate knowledge. That could be a double-edged sword for us.
When she had dementia or whatever it was, or Alzheimer's, not sure. I think they were calling it Yeah, always happy.
Of course, that opens up the question, what is happy?
So, in terms of the accumulation of knowledge, because I do have an archivalist habit, I would think to take the books to one of the institutions that scan their books and place them up on archive.org. So that
Oh,
there's
I'm back.
copies of them available. I was just saying, Jairo, that I would find one of the places, perhaps a university or some other institution that scans their books and posts them up on to archive.org. That way, at least as long as that institution is living, whatever books that you eventually give away might, so long as archive.org remains online and with its stores of knowledge, you will access digital copies of those things in the future.
Yeah, sometimes I find a book that is from the 60s, 70s, or 80s or older. Oh, it's already on archive.org. Maybe I should give it away because I can read it on archive.org. Maybe I should give away the older books. And oh, there is one old book, like a paperback, that I checked on Amazon, and wow, they're selling for 20 some dollars. And I bought it for a dollar or so. Maybe some of them have gotten a little bit rare because they're not publishing them anymore, the real old ones, and the little small paperback books. So maybe some people might cherish them so they can sell them a little higher than usual.
Yeah,
They
and if
get,
that stuff in your library is valuable, you could use it to you could sell them at the market rate, gather all the money from those sales proceeds, buy yourself a ticket and take a tour of Nepal.
wow. Yes. Send some money to Min Das Tamang. He's the trekking guide to keep him afloat because he's got very few clients. I think he's going to try to get a French client or something going on so he can take them to Mount Everest base camp. Certainly not to,
But
because they're like regular people. They just want to be
your
close to
life
it.
just freed up tremendously, Jairo. You could literally, if you are up to physical labor, you could fly there with shovel and pick and whatnot
And climb the
and
mountains. Or
carry
that,
the rocks and help build the terraces yourself. Sorry,
build a monastery. And find
Yeah,
some lamas, some
monastery
gurus.
maybe. Yeah, monastery at my village, brother.
Or I can help build a monastery at your village
Yeah,
and get
yeah.
Lama
We
Luis
have.
Del Pino.
Yeah, there is.
Lama Luis Del Pino
There
to
is.
teach. No.
There is. There is the cave Padma Sambhava where
There,
he meditated.
oh, Padmasambhava.
Yeah,
Very famous
Padma Sambhava
figure
Yes,
in
Padma Sambhava
Tibetan Buddhism.
meditation cave at my
Wow.
village. Up-
What's he like? What was Padmasambhava like? Maybe he was like Saint Nicholas. No, he was magical. Hmm. He
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
must have introduced a lot of. Oh, he went into Tibet and pacified the demons in Tibet, or the people that worship demons. He, instead of destroying the people and telling them no, don't worship those silly things, he transformed those demons into Buddhas and say, okay, this demon is a Buddha, something like that.
Yeah.
Or he said, oh, I wrestled down these. Maybe to the Buddhists themselves, he says, oh, I wrestled down these demons, and now they're pacified, and now they obey me. He's from India. I think from the 8th or 9th century. Something like that. Padmasambhava, Guru Padmasambhava. Rinpoche, that
Yeah,
means precious.
Padmasambhava. Guru
They even have a mantra
Padmasambhava
for him.
meditation cave.
Oh, and he's the one that supposedly wrote the Tibetan Book of the Dead, but he didn't publish it. He buried it and said, "Oh, this is too much for people these days. I'll bury it." And then later on, centuries later, somebody would find it, and then later on, yes, it'd be known all over the world. Well, maybe by the 15th century, it was known in Tibet, but they don't call it the Tibetan Book of the Dead. They call it more like the Bardo Todal, something like that.
Yeah,
Bardo is in
yeah,
between states.
yeah, Bardo.
So my mother could be in the Bardo or skipped it and went directly to the lap of Jesus or something like that. The heart of
Yeah,
Jesus.
and we
Merged with the
wish,
heart.
we pray.
We pray. Oh, with Om Mani Padme Hum. I was supposed to say Om
Yeah,
Mani Padme Hum to those
to
that
rest
just
in
passed away
peace and heaven.
with Boa. Transfer.
Yeah,
Yes, and Buddhists like to say the word consciousness instead of soul or spirit. So we pray that her consciousness merges with the consciousness of Jesus, the heart of Jesus. Yes, her heart merges with heart of Jesus, or at least be in the heavenly kingdom of Jesus. Maybe Jesus doesn't like too many people in his heart, or maybe he's
yeah,
already in their hearts. Yes, maybe there's everybody's hearts.
Maybe his heart is made up of all hearts. Yeah.
Yes, Jesus is in all our hearts. Yes, right.
That's
Like
funny. You
could
said maybe Jesus don't want all of us in his heart.
be all at once. Maybe
All
he
at
needs a
once.
little space. Maybe he needs a little space. And then
Mm.
have a because some people want to sing in the choir with the angels, and some people want to play badminton in heaven. I don't know.
Mhm.
Some people want to play tennis in heaven. Oh, what would
Some
that
want
be
to
like?
walk the dogs in heaven.
Oh,
yeah.
yes, the dogs in
It's,
heaven, the heavenly dogs.
yeah, heavenly dog.
Mm.
And
Oh, so we need a Guru Padmasambhava was in a cave
yeah,
in Nepal.
yes, you are welcome.
So maybe that's a pilgrimage site.
Yeah,
And
pilgrimage cave.
Mindas Tamang takes his
Yes,
clients to see the cave.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And, it's,
You and sister done.
and then we can go inside the cave and meditate,
Yes,
and we can
yeah,
walk through walls and walk on water, and or no, maybe we'll just be cold inside the cave. That'll
yeah,
be
If
hard.
we go in the cave, I want to have a performance. I want you
Mm,
to do a performance.
a performance.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Let's
it can
see.
be like Plato's cave.
Okay, we'll put a bonfire behind us, and Dominic will be doing some shadow work with his hands, like showing a bird, and we'll look at the wall of the cave and say, "Wow, that's our reality."
Yes.
And we'll be happy ever
yeah.
after. Oh, we have our favorite person, philosopher, a person
Oh,
that Joel Schuster visited in Tokyo to play the game of
Hiroshi.
Vinci.
oh,
Hiroshi,
Hiroshi.
hi.
Hiroshi
Hi.
lives near Tokyo.
Hi,
Maybe a
Hi.
little
Hiroshi.
late. Hi.
Oh, he just
Namaste,
got out of work.
brother Hiroshi from Japan.
Yes.
Yes.
And he's a great
Uh,
philosopher and writer. He can write excellent English.
No.
Yeah.
oh, great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
and he's studying
Welcome.
haiku from Banso. Who's the haiku master that you're studying?
Basho? You mean Basho?
Basho, yes.
Yeah,
He's
Japanese
studying
haiku poet.
the highly sophisticated haiku poetry of Basho to try to figure out what does it mean? Why is it important? And he's going to write a book on it and become a millionaire.
No, not yet.
No, a billionaire. A billionaire. I'm sorry, a billionaire.
Billionaire.
I want to think positive. Think
Hiroshi,
big.
Hiro is giving you
Mhm.
all
Like,
kinds of new jobs, Hiroshi.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for joining us, Hiroshi. You're
Yeah,
my
thank you.
hero.
No.
Hiroshi.
So Jairo, where are you working?
And do you remember Dawn? She's in Hawaii.
Don?
She says aloha and ho'oponopono.
Pono Pono. Yeah.
And you remember Dominic? He says that we should move on, let go of our attachments when we die. No, when we live, we should try to move on. Moving on. Yes, I got to work on my attachments.
So that's why you're working, Jairo.
Mm. And I'm walking the dog.
Oh, yeah?
Mhm.
Oh,
It made him
Jared.
get up. He's having problems with his signal. I
Oh,
think it's windy where he is walking.
oh. So he disappeared.
You know, Hiroshi,
Uh-huh.
this morning, Hiro lost his mom.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
She
I'm
passed
sorry.
away.
Uh-huh.
So when he comes back, he can tell you.
Uh-huh.
But I want to let you know.
it's very,
Okay.
it's very sad news for today for us.
Yeah, very sad news.
Yeah.
I
But
saw
he's
his
in
mom
very
last
good spirits.
week on Zoom.
Oh,
Yeah. But she was very weak.
did she
Yeah.
have her eyes open?
Yep. A
Oh,
little bit. Yep.
oh, I haven't
Mhm.
seen her in maybe a couple months.
Oh, yep.
Last time I saw her, he was feeding her breakfast and
Mhm.
she said hello to me and smiled.
Oh, last week she couldn't say anything, but I think her eyes was open.
Mm,
Mhm.
mm. Well, Hiro is having very good spirits. He's very mature
Mhm.
through this, and
Mhm.
you know, the family was mostly ready to let her not suffer, you know. So it's like he's showing the way, you know, for us how to be when you have to let go of somebody, you know.
Yeah, he's a good man.
Yes, he is. I'm so
Mhm.
proud of him.
Mhm.
So, but so today the Rami left. I think
Mhm.
maybe his signal left as well. But
Oh.
Rami made a message to say today's topic was going to be
Mhm.
comparing notes on life. But
Mhm.
Hyro's mom passed away, so we ended up talking about that. And then I
Mhm.
think Dominic brought also some different kinds of thoughts on letting go. And we've just been talking about different things, whatever you want to talk about.
Oh. So, what should we talk about?
Yeah, it looks like Rami
Uh-huh.
I just told him, I just put admit. Oh, he's coming now.
Mhm.
There's Rami. So yeah, we can talk about anything that's on your mind.
Mm.
I guess I'm in charge. I don't know how to be in charge, but I'm in charge. So yes, let's see. Rami is
Mhm.
here. Hiroshi, okay,
Yeah.
everyone is here except Hiro. Rami, I'm in
Yeah.
charge. No, don't let me be in charge.
Isn't controlling an illusion?
Yes. I'll turn on my camera so I can see everybody too. And I think Dom said he left when he came back.
Well,
Are you
welcome
here
back,
now,
Dom.
Dom?
That done?
Oh, you're back. Oh, okay.
Wow.
Where did Gyro
So
go? Where did
he
Gyro go?
disappeared.
Oh,
His I think his signal dropped.
Or his battery died, or some of
Oh,
both cat columns.
okay.
Houses. He mentioned only having 11% on his phone at the time.
Yeah.
So
He's
it's
been
it's
walking for
interesting that
a
we
long.
have all these people here right now.
Yes. And Jairo's been walking for a long time. I think he's been walking for 2
He,
hours.
he could walk the earth. He could keep going. He could leave the state. He could cross the continent. He could get on a boat, walk on its deck as it crosses the ocean.
Onto another boat.
Well, yeah, and another continent.
Yeah. He just keeps going and going. Remember when he used to lay in the park and then fall asleep while he was
Yes.
videoing?
Oh, I would time mark that. I would time mark that moment in the comments.
And also, I remember when I went to Orlando to visit and my sister and then met up with Jairo and we went shopping and had lunch and he was videotaping the whole time. And he went to my hotel and had free breakfast.
Yes, yes. This is actually part of a tradition. There was a guy, I think in the 1920s or teens, where he would journal every single moment of every single day. So it's not like, humans have been doing this for a little while. But then
Yes.
it alters the nature of life too. But thank goodness some of us actually do that because it creates vignettes, windows into the past.
Mm-hmm. Yes. That was great. Yep, that was great. Yeah, I should do that again. Maybe I'll do that soon.
Or come up
I
here,
want
up north
Yeah,
this
I
time.
want to come visit you guys too. I want to come see you guys. And well, I didn't tell you all, but I'm buying my first home.
That's exciting. Oh
Uh,
wow. Is it going to be there in Citrus County? Or
yes, it's just a few minutes from me. It was not planned, not expected at all. It just happened without a doubt. It was definitely this was by design.
yes.
And so I it's just been a whirlwind. So maybe in about a week or so I will close. And then I will move in about a month or so because I'm busy. It's tax season. So I'm
Right.
super busy.
Oh
I don't
wow.
have time to move. I'm too
Well,
busy.
you can always put it in order after tax season, We still have
Yeah,
cardboard boxes from when we moved in August.
yes. Yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to start packing this weekend and getting things ready and yeah, a lot is happening right now, but good things. So,
Yes.
but I want to take a trip to see people after I settle into the new house.
Oh yes. That's a great lesson too, with regards to that, because that life goes on.
Yeah. Yes.
My
And
goodness.
what's been going on for you, Hiroshi?
Oh, yeah, I have two cats, and one of them is very old and weak now.
Oh,
Yeah, that's very sad thing.
2 cats.
Yes, two cats.
Oh. How old
Once
is
I
the
used to
one
have
who's weak?
once I used to have 5 cats.
Whoa.
Now it's 2.
Did they all pass away? The others pass away?
Yep.
Oh, you took care of them for many years.
Yeah, me and my wife.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Like
Thank you.
Dominic.
Really?
Dominic, you also take care of cats, right?
Oh, they take care of me, but we can play that game that I take care of.
Mhm.
Yes, I do have cats, and yes, I had 4 of them at one time. 3 of them decided to move on, and I got Gypsy
Mm.
left. It's-
And Hiro takes a dog for a walk, and Rami has 3 dogs.
And I have 2 dogs. I have
Oh,
2.
really? That's good.
Yeah. Yeah, I have 2.
Oh, very nice.
Oh,
Mhm.
2 girls.
Oh,
So yeah.
Ladies' house I've done. It's all ladies.
Yes, this is a lady's house.
So you get to be your own handyman once you own the house.
No.
Oh no,
No.
you're just going to hire someone?
Oh,
Or get-
absolutely. I'm not Tim the Two-Man Taylor. No way.
Yeah, I guess I was blessed with those skills or natural proclivity.
I'll
Or
hire you. I'll hire you, Rami. You can come.
I'm very happy. I'm feeling like coming more into the fullness of being a man, because I get to fix things around here when they break. And part of it could be that men aren't, we're not so connected in our hemispheres, and we don't fear or fret. We'll just see a problem and try to fix it.
Mm.
And I don't know
Well,
if that's a result of the brain damage that we incur by way of the testosterone, or maybe I think it's a feature. I treat it as a feature, not a bug. Even if it means that some of us will live shorter lives for taking that too far sometimes.
So the female brain is more integrated. What's it
Yeah,
called?
we tend to be more specialized,
The
which
colossum.
makes the female brain much better for raising children and for caring for others. And
multitasking.
Yes, right. I try to multitask. Like I taught myself how to pat my head and rub my belly, stand on one leg, hop, and sing a song all at the same time, but it doesn't translate well into other.
Oh, the
It
important
turns into
stuff.
multi-failing. Yes, I can do all those things, Hiroshi. Sesame Street taught me how.
Oh, that's funny. But no, I will hire you. If I have projects, I'll let you know, Rami, and see if you're interested. And I would love to, if you have time, I can hire you. And
Oh,
you
that'd
can
be fun.
come
Yeah,
and help.
I'll be happy to be the amateur fix-it-up guy. We might
Okay,
even
good.
work for a meal or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I would.
No,
Yeah.
my wife just said no.
Oh, she said don't feed him.
No, she likes folding stuff or Venmo or PayPal or
He's smart. I
she
will pay
is.
you
That's why
when
she
he's
does the
smart.
financials in the house.
Yes, that's right. Rami, I'm gonna tell you off for her. No, you're gonna get paid. Don't eat it. Eat your work away. Rami. Ah. Anyway. So welcome back, Cairo. I see you're back home from your walk.
And it looks like he's charging too.
Yes.
Yes, I swapped phones. The other
Ah,
one shut down at 1%.
yes.
All that data and video capturing and sending and receiving, it would chew through the end of your battery rather quickly.
Mm.
And the sun is
Oh,
very
looks-
intense right now.
This
Oh,
one looks
yeah.
like
Oh my
60%.
goodness. It's only February, Don. How'd you like that snow we got though over in the west side of the state? Did you see the Instagram of
Yeah,
that one city covered in snow? Oh my goodness.
yeah. It
Sounds
happens
like-
like that in Hawaii too.
Oh wow.
Does
Uh,
it see-
Does it get more humid in Hawaii, or do you have a breeze that keeps it drier?
We have a lot of breeze most often, but sometimes we have a high humidity. I think that, it comes and goes, sort of like here in Florida. just sometimes here in Florida, it feels like I could smell myself cooking.
You're being poached in Florida. Southern
Yeah.
California, Arizona, you get fried, but in Florida, you get poached.
Yeah.
You are not going to Citrus County for a meal. Nope.
Well, of course, we'll have to eat some lunch or something when we're over there.
No.
The whole family.
No.
Yeah. See, and it's not just me. You get to meet our boys.
There has to be some greenbacks or some transfers on before you go.
She already scolded me for not
Nobody
thinking
plays
financially at the time.
Universal Orlando.
Oh.
Well, she got some work there.
Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
You just put me on a coaster and go do some work.
Yeah. Do you like roller coasters? No, you don't like roller coasters,
don't.
Don.
Me?
Yeah.
I do like roller coasters, but look at your face. I don't like the heat. I don't like being out in the heat. I'm old now.
Go in April then.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, well, April maybe. The best
February.
time, of course, to ride the parks is January, February in Florida
Mhm.
because the lines are the
Just that's
shortest.
not my thing. I've
okay.
outgrown the parks, is what it is.
Well,
Not
what
my-
I'm saying is it's the fewest number of people in attendance there. So it's the shortest lines. If you like coasters, it's the most efficient way to get through the process of the park in order to ride the coasters.
Yeah.
Universal.
Island's not.
Oh, yes. I haven't been to Universal yet, but I want to
We'll do
go
that.
one day. When it's, we'll make it work.
With someone who also likes to ride coasters.
I think I've outgrown it. I'm
Oh.
old now.
You
I'm
never
52.
outgrown it, baby. I've seen 90-year-olds park their butts on.
I know, but it's not my thing anymore.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I've outgrown.
Put my hips in.
But one must dress right as well for the occasion.
Yeah, wear a dress.
My wife likes wearing dresses because she enjoys the breeze.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes. So
Come here.
what's been happening, Hiroshi, with your work?
Finish talking over this
I
way.
know you lost a cat.
Well, in Japan, in my country, students are taking entrance exams to the universities now. But they are studying very hard now. But that's for students. I am a teacher and I don't study now. I just watch them study, and sometimes I give them advice. So students are very hardworking.
What's
you
the
have to
age of the students that you teach?
Oh, English. I teach English.
And what's the age?
Oh, high school students.
Ah,
They are 18 or 17, something like that.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they aspire to go to the college or university nearby or somewhere far away?
Or it depends. But most of the students in my students usually go to nearby colleges because they live in Tokyo. So they want to go to colleges in Tokyo. But some go far away. It depends.
Yes, tell them to go to UCF. That's University of Central Florida, one of the
Oh.
largest universities in the United States.
Oh,
And there
very
are
good.
Japanese professors there, such as of computer science and other topics.
Mhm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Go to University of Toronto and say
Toronto.
hello to Dominic and
Yeah.
Joe Schuster.
Yeah.
Where's Joe?
It depends on what kind of environment they want to be in.
Mhm.
We're very internationalized here.
Go to
But nowadays,
Harvard.
people in Japan, the number of population is decreasing in Japan, so it's relatively easier to go to college than it was when I was a student.
Mm.
Yeah, you got to make every Japanese count. Maximum proficiency and output, especially to support the aging population. So you got
Oh, so
technology added.
Hiroshi,
Yeah.
have you considered converting to Islam? And you can get many wives and have lots of kids.
Yeah,
And,
you're right. You may be
you are
right.
doing a favor to Japanese society. There's a
I think
video
maybe,
I was watching.
yeah.
The video I was watching is some
Mhm.
American interviewing a Muslim guy outside, and he's saying, "So how many kids do you have?"
Mhm.
87. 87. Yes, I have mm, I have 17 wives. 17 wives. I have only one wife. And so the Muslim guy started laughing at him. You have one wife? He couldn't stop laughing
Now,
because he had
what
one wife.
country? Which Muslim country was that? That
I
sounds
couldn't tell.
that sounds like a skit because the rules, at least I only had experience in Saudi Arabia, and the owner of the company that my father and grandfather both worked at, he had more than one wife, but the rules are rather specific. You have to be able to treat them equally. You have to be able to set, like, each one of them had a 5 or 6 story mansion, and that was their domain. And in that culture, the woman rules her domain. So,
Well done. You should become Muslim and go there.
I know, right? I can have a mansion.
Yes, but you have to share yourself with a few other wives, maybe at least 4. But that's
No.
okay. You get a good deal.
No, I don't want it. I've been taking care of myself for a long time. I want a man that's all mine. I want my own.
Oh, you're so possessive, so jealous. Don't want to share it.
I don't want to share. No, I've been taking care of people my whole life. I've been a mom. I have 4 grandchildren. I
Wow.
I take care of other people's businesses. My whole life I've been taking care of people. Now I
Wow.
want my own man.
A man that can take care of you.
We can take care of each other.
Wow.
Yeah, but I'm not rushing. He will come.
Hmm. You just gotta leave the door open, maybe, or get on Facebook dating.
I thought about it because Facebook would send me a message, and I said, "Oh, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see."
Maybe you have to go. Maybe you'll find him somewhere out in public or at the workplace. No, your work from home.
Yeah, my work is at home, but I think I'm getting ready to be ready because I've been out, I've only had in the last, 10 years, I had one relationship with a man, and
Wow.
I was still trying to be friends with him even though our relationship ended, but I realized because he was staying around me, it may be giving the wrong idea that we are a couple.
Mhm.
So I said, no, I don't want him to be around me that way because he wants to be with me, but we're not a good match.
Mhm.
I don't want to be a mom to a man, right? Right, Hiroshi? Does your wife have to be a mom to you, a mother?
Well, she's just my wife, not my mother.
She has to be like your mother when you were a teenager.
When I was teenager, When I was a teenager, I didn't have any girlfriends.
Oh.
It's a long time ago.
Mm.
Either.
I was in a boys' high school, so there was no girls.
Oh, like a prep school. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, only boys around.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. So, yeah, life is good right now. I feel like, for me, my view of the world is improved.
So that's good.
My, yeah,
Mhm.
my perspective. I have a higher vibration, a higher view of possibilities. My love is big, and I enjoy, helping humanity. So my partner, my match will be on the same spectrum.
But you do all your work online, or do you do some gigs in person sometimes?
Most recently, I've been beside my accounting business, I've been doing some other kind of work, and I just recently had my first public event, and I will have another event in March. And so, yeah, I think I'm branching out to helping in another way, more in public, face to face.
So when the adoptive parents to two of the children that Stacy and I had, when they were in the process of buying their second home, they both went to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. So she has a degree, or maybe even a master's in aviation, accounting, or something along those lines. And she works for, a big name, you'd recognize it.
Your
The
daughter?
defense contractor. What they did, in addition to doing that as a day job, is deliver pizzas.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
hey, and she loved it. She loved the work.
yeah. There's so much money to be made right now in serving the public in that way. Because like for me, I don't go grocery shopping. I haven't been I've been in a grocery store maybe 5 times in the last 5 years.
Right? Isn't
I
that
don't
crazy?
go very often.
Our we got a set of candy because BuyWiki was offering free chocolate, and so my wife picked up that order, and then the person who walked it over was walking towards us. The door was open. I was like, "Don't you need to take a picture of that?" And she was like, "Oh yeah," and she took a picture of the bag, and then she was like, "Oh well, I'm your neighbor. I live right behind you." I was like, "Oh," and then I mentioned her name. She's like, "Yeah, that's how you spell it."
Yes, I think
I
it's
did.
cool.
I did grocery shopping in Walmart last night
Yes,
in
I
person.
like Walmart. Walmart is starting to offer better quality foods. They're bringing in higher quality names, brands. Organic can actually mean organic nowadays. Used to be organic was just a word, didn't mean anything.
Wow, I got organic carrots. I'm gonna make some carrot juice.
Cool,
That's
nice.
from Yeah, but nothing wants to come out. I feel I was thinking of pooping outside, but the dog bag was too small, so I came here and nothing's coming out. So I'm gonna leave this place.
Are you on the toilet?
Few people just turned off their cameras because they don't think they wanted to be associated with this video feed anymore.
I thought you were on the toilet there, Hyro. Oh my goodness, Hyro.
I was thinking it looked like a bathroom, but I don't know.
Number two and
I
number
don't
one.
there's everything with us.
Got to get back to cooking my wife breakfast.
Okay, good morning.
This channel just became R-rated.
Yeah, I'll try again later. Maybe I'll
Hi,
make some
Ro.
carrot juice. Maybe I should wash my hands. Maybe I should take a
Yeah,
shower.
you nasty. Wash your hands.
Did you have hot peppers yesterday, Hyro?
Oh, I ate at Tijuana Flats.
There
That's
you
like
go.
Mexican, and it was pretty spicy.
So you might be there for a while then.
Maybe that's what's keeping it stuck.
Ew. Even Hiroshi went away. He was like, oh no.
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh. Hyro
My
was
wife
giving
is washing, so I have to help her sometimes.
Oh, yes, of
Washing the
course.
clothes, yeah.
No, Hyro was using the bathroom while he was talking to us.
So he's in the bath in the
Yeah,
bathroom?
he said he was taking a poop. So now he went away to finish and wash his hands.
But nothing came out.
Nothing.
Nothing came. Hyro. Oh my
So
gosh.
Hyro is in the bathroom with maybe with his dog.
Good thing that Zoom doesn't transmit smells.
Not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, maybe someday you can transmit the smell.
Oh, please, not anytime soon. Please, no.
I guess in some application it would be useful if your friend's hiking and says something like, "This is a beautiful flower that I'm smelling." Okay, click a button, let me smell it. But Hyro might abuse it. Being in the toilet. Actually, there was a Doctor Who episode, such a show, where a person was using some sort of visual goggles and talking to their father, and the father told the daughter, click a certain temple button, and it could smell its environment. So, again, sci-fi. Because we're really tapping in with the visual and the hearing senses on these devices. But when it comes to touch, touching somebody else from another part of the world or smelling, would be interesting.
Virtual reality.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. It would be.
Wow.
Tasting a
Something
waterfall.
tells me we can do that already, but we collectively haven't realized it yet. But I have a feeling we can. Like the fake forest behind Hiroshi, maybe if it was real, maybe he could smell it, and then I could tap into his senses and I could smell it like that.
Wow.
I think it's possible. I'm not going to tap into your senses though, Hyro.
Not right now.
Not while you're in the bathroom.
We would have to have a bigger storage then. I think our vessels would be too small to store all that information.
You're right.
More bandwidth.
Yes.
Well, you could have a list of smells.
Well, here's one. Sorry, Yarl. Would you want to be able to pick up other people's senses or have the capability to, at a quicker pace, pick up variations of languages? Because most of us are limited to how many languages we could speak in one lifespan. Which one would it be then, I guess, as a possibility? Because, usually the senses, and when it comes to smell, that's more for pleasure. So if somebody could speak, say, Mandarin, Morse code, Braille, American Sign Language, would you rather have that?
Possibly, but I think we can do that. For example, when I'm preparing to meet with my spiritual counselor or mentor, they have the ability to tap in to my sphere, to my light, my aura, and they pick up messages to give to me that is extremely relevant.
Okay, on a spiritual level. But to download it into the physical, this is why I was saying about the senses. The senses, the ongoing program, it's very limited. How much, because spiritually, this is why when some people, for whatever reason, they can speak in tongues, something is actually coming to the forefront from the backdrop, kind of like a subconscious opposed to the conscious mind. Could the conscious mind take in all that information?
I believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe a limitation is there except what we limit ourselves.
Because, you know, even when we do learn things, then it would be the interacting with each other. Like people argue with each other, debate with each other. Is that based on because we're fully awake or we're limited in our awareness? You know, like think about people that argue with each other based on one language. Can you imagine if you had the ability to speak many languages or interpret many different languages? Would we have to learn at a very, you know, rudimental level how to communicate with ourselves first? Because you were talking earlier, Don, about relationship, regardless if it's the opposite gender, it's a relationship. You know, somebody could turn around and say, okay, I have a tough time relating with humans. Okay, but what's your relationship with trees? What is it with animals? What is it with nature in general?
Hyro's letting us experience brushing his teeth.
The night after. That was a good evening we met, Jaro. Now you're brushing your teeth. You went to the bathroom. You know, maybe put on, you know, your shorts while you're taking a shower with us. It would be all enjoyable.
I think we each experience our environments in our own way. I don't think there's any limitation or requirement except what we choose, because my belief is that we are here to experience life in this form.
Okay, so there you go, Don. Because what's coming to me right now is we expand our capacity, you know, we can know more languages. Then would we have to address the limitation of the vessel?
But I don't think that it's an issue.
Ponder it. We're talking about somebody that just moved on. So that means it validated, you know, the aging process. That's the limitation of the vessel.
Right, but it's all about perception, right? Because if I don't perceive the fact that this vessel has to die as a limitation for who I am, then it's not an issue for me. It doesn't need to be addressed for me.
Okay. Addressing an issue, two different things, but yes, address. So like, let's say I have a friend, 60, 70, 80 years old. They've learned a lot of things, mechanical, chef and all that. And now they move on. Now, for a lot of us, we're just going to say, well, it's part of life and that's fine. But for other people that, let's say they're billionaires, they want to extend that way of living. The perception is very limited at that point. Because I would have to still look at it and say, okay, well, that person's eventually going to move on. Why? Because there's a change constantly going on, the aging of the vessel. This is where some people have talked about Sanskrit, for example. It was introduced as a language because it would actually play with the molecules, and immortals could live longer in a mortal form. This is where they're playing with transhumanism. They're trying to be able to keep the conscious part, not the subconscious part, but the conscious part constantly being around, because it eventually you go to sleep in many forms. You know, we're communicating now with AI. AI basically, if it starts going into a concept like a robot, will have protocols. You need to protect your data, your soul, your data from fire, from water. Now we're back to humans again. Not to say it's not a beautiful thing to be in a human form, but it's very limiting.
I mean, I do see your perspective on it, but I don't believe that it's something that is a problem for me, or something that I feel needs to be resolved. I feel an acceptance of that, and I feel that each person's way of receiving this reality is for them to discern and to live by. I do also believe, but this belief is based on my own experience, that depending on the vibration of your consciousness and your, your vibration of your soul or your spirit, whichever word you want to use, your consciousness that is in this body, I do believe that you can exist longer in this form, depending on how you vibrate. If you're of a lighter consciousness, a higher vibration, I believe that people tend to almost be a Benjamin Buttons. I would be a Benjamina Buttons, because I do believe that it looks sometimes like people are reversing in their age as the weight is lifted off of the vessel. So I do believe that the consciousness can affect the vessel in that way. But no matter what, there may be an expiration on this vessel, but we cannot say it's the same for everyone. It's different for each person. And so for me, I feel allowance and acceptance is a better measurement for me to live my life by. And therefore, I feel like I have more freedom.
I'm with you 100% on that, Don. I'm pretty sure there were people that probably wanted to be with nature and always stay in harmony with nature, and they'll say, I'm okay with that. But then we have to address the masses that actually allowed or they chose to want to have technology. Again, as an individual, that's a great ideal. So I'm with you on that. But when it comes more to an expanded group or collective, it always shows that people are going to jump into things without being aware. What are some of the consequences or rewards from it? So the ideal of actually putting a neuron chip into somebody might be embraced by other people, depends on how it's sold. We wouldn't be using this technology if it was based on the few. This technology is based on the masses, and usually it's based on some naivety. They don't, it's like doing a business plan. You have to do, checks or whatever. You got to do some reflection, so AI, in this case, it will thrive because people will see some of its advantages, hence why people will see things positive, but then ignore the negative aspect of it.
Right. There's I'm going to pop a link in the section, and it's about looking at progress and including all externalities. So I'll put that in there in just about the next minute.
Thanks, Rami.
I recommend you all check it out offline because it's a more holistic view of all these trends.
Thank you. I guess for me, my view on this AI thing, pulling back from it, is that it's a manipulation of perception. Because today's AI, and I've said it before, you may have heard me say it, Dom, today's AI is yesterday's bots. We used to call them bots, robots. And because it's just information put into a form, and that form has the ability to collect more of that information or data from interacting with us. It's a mimicking system. It's attempting to mimic us. But there is an ability to control us with fear, because people don't understand it. They're using a word. Words are big time controlling of people. AI, but it's always been here. When you go to the ATM, AI. People have been getting pacemakers in their hearts for decades. What is it? AI. Your debit card, AI. We always use it. Your computer, your TV, especially smart TVs, AI. So I am not fazed by it. And I'm also not feeling that I have to address other people's perception of things. But what I do have to address is when I find a pattern of manipulation that is being played on a massive scale to cajole, push, move people through the use of powerful forces like fear to make decisions that are against us as a population, to give our power over to a small group of other people. That's what I'm very interested in. I'm not interested in somebody else choosing to have some type of computer thing in their body. How does that bother me that they're choosing to do that? It doesn't bother me. That's a choice for themselves. But someone making a decision that everybody have to do it is a problem for me.
It's usually sold to people. So if somebody was able to put a chip into a dog or a cat and now be able to communicate with us, it would be how people choose to relate with it. So it's AI is how we relate with it. What form it goes into, that's another story. The way you described how AI is and memory and all that stuff and how it interacts, it's the same thing with humans. This is the only difference is the human part has more of an emotional part to it. But that technology is by far more advanced than any of us will ever be. It can speak all kinds of languages. I've even had conversation with it. It can't even give a simple yes or no because it has to elaborate itself, which is a great quality. And for a lot of people, they're going to say, yeah, but what about the human experience? I said, okay, that now we're going to narrow it down. The human experience has its limitations. How many people would say you don't have to see the suffering of your parents or the passing away of your parents? Now we're talking about immortality. I said, okay, but now we have to weigh it in. Would we want a Hitler to live that long? Again, this is where we can play with the ideal of mortal and immortal forms or whatever we are. Maybe who we are consciously, if that's what we are limited, knowing that, okay, I have to be in this form that I got to feed and shelter all the time. It'll be like talking to AI and say, okay, so how were you when you were in the VIC-20? What do you mean the VIC-20? Well, what program was running the VIC-20? Because that's the outer shell now. The computer's one thing, AI is another thing. And then what is actually the thing behind AI? That's like us. The vessel is one thing. Then we have the ongoing program called the conscious part. And then we have the thing that's behind it. What's the subconscious now? That's the thing that functions the vessel. This is where people get the ideal of, intuition, insight, or channeling. We haven't totally interacted with this vessel completely. So what we've done is, okay, instead of perfecting this or really understanding it so it can be in harmony, let's jump to the next thing. And then we're throwing with the baby with the bathwash. We're distancing ourselves from nature. The only reason why we're still interconnected with nature because we're still in this vessel. Now, you said some key points. There's words like acceptance, allowance. I'm going to use the word tolerant. Other people might do niscent. They might do naivety, ignorance. A lot of people will play with money but not understand how it works. A lot of people are going to play with AI but not understand how it works. Hence the term plug and play. I'm just throwing out different ideals to play with, guys, if people are interested. Unless some people just want to confirm the way I exist is enough for me, then my question would still be another question. Then why is that person in civilization then? Because they've already adapted? If all of a sudden they start talking openly about how Wi-Fi or GPS and all that affects us, this physical form, how many people would actually give up that technology? If they're being honest. Probably very few. And the ones that would be other people, like most cultures, hence the word culture, would attack them. What do you mean? You can't do that. You're wrecking it for the rest of us. Oh, how interesting. You quickly went from individual to group hive mentality. It's very delusional with the word control, let alone individual. But I get it. When we're in a little group, that's great. But then how do we relate with other people? This is where people struggle with relationship. The reason why most people struggle with relationship, because they can't humble themselves and say, make myself insignificant and make others important if they choose to shine. Now, again, I could be full of shit, but I'm okay with that. But even though Gyro was in the bathroom, I'm curious about if he's doing number 1 or number 2. But I think he was subtly giving us, he was trying to do number 2. Thanks, Gyro. I appreciate that.
Doing his duty.
his honorable, national duty.
He's doing his duty.
Should I vote for Donald Trump when I'm on the toilet or on top of the toilet? Which one would be the best one?
Or you can choose not to vote at all. That's another choice as well, not to participate in it. But I guess the part that I can respond to is about the idea that we need to connect with nature.
Mhm.
And my experience is that idea is very limiting. It's a perception of things. And it's a perception that requires other people to believe it as well. It's something that's being forced or put on other people. But my experience has been that nature is not limited by walls. The sun is not blocked at all and limited by our ceiling. The force of our creator God doesn't get withdrawn because we have a floor and we're in a building. It's a perception of limitation that does not exist. It's only exists in a perception. Because my reality has been that I don't spend time walking in nature. I don't spend time out at the beach. I haven't been doing those kinds of things for many years, and yet I am grounded. My vibration rises. My connection to source is powerful. My evolution is evident. And so what my reality is not necessarily someone else's. And since I see and have experienced that we each have a different experience by choice here, that I don't need to dictate to somebody else what they should be doing or shouldn't be doing, and that their choices have no effect or limitation on me when I don't choose it. If I choose it, then yes, it will affect me. And if there is a push on a mass scale from others who are trying to control us, then that affects me. And that's where my focus goes on, with those forces. I don't prescribe to a few ruling the masses. So I step back from it and I acknowledge and accept that, hey, these options are out here for us to choose. And if someone wants to interact with them, they can. And then lastly, when it comes to 5G, fear is being used because many people called out back in 2017 and earlier about what was going to happen if 5G came. 5G was already here at the time, but they were screaming about it, talking about how people were going to be sick. Where are all these masses of people? And it reminds me of the new scheme that came out shortly after called COVID. Where are all the sick people that died and the masses of people in the street? It didn't happen, but it existed in the minds of some people. And so my caution to it is be careful about putting a determination on others of how life will be for them based on an idea that exists only in your mind or the minds of a few.
When it comes to nature, Don, unless you live in a really sterilizing environment where it's all man-made devices, that's one thing. But if you're touching a cat or a dog, you are grounded. you're still communicating with nature. If you're touching another human being that's actually grounded, you're still grounded. That is nature. Nature is anything that's a flesh organ. So it doesn't necessarily have to be in a forest or a jungle or on body of water. So now for a lot of folks, they're so caught up in their brain. So for them, the fear is usually out of ignorance. So it's unaware. So they'll say, well, but I'm actually in my house with a computer. I said, yes, but are you doing any interaction? Do you have plants in your house? Do you have any pets in your house? Even cockroaches would be a sort of purpose at that point. So now what did happen during those times with the vaccine and all that kind of stuff, it's some of it, if they were the ones that were the vaccine shots, they were actually instilled inside of the person's cell. And then some of them, you're starting to see some of its results. Comes in the form of a cough and all that kind of stuff. They've openly talked about depopulation, in part and partial is because it's not the few running the masses, it's the masses wanting to be run by the few.
Oh.
Now, the few that are trying to help other people, not to fight them, is trying to say, listen, trying to educate you on how the system works. Because then if you feel as though you need to complain or be fearful, most people that are fearful are out of ignorance. Most people that are trying to fight the system is out of ignorance. I get it, Don, you're sharing with yourself how you've come to peace with it. But most people aren't even on the same page, let alone on the same book as you. No different other people that go around talking about it. It's all, fear mongering. The world's going to come to a collapse. Last time I remember, you're eventually going to pop out of that vessel. So yes, your version of the world will eventually come to some sort of abrupt end. But to think that we're going to change other people, no. Can we manipulate other people? I would say yes, because then we would have to explain why do we have all these different cultures and dogmas. But most people just follow it aimlessly. They don't actually focus in. Why do I value my skin color or my gender, let alone religion, let alone state or science? Now, people, if they understood what voting is, casting a vote. Why did in the old days they used to mark it with an X? Because they understood the energy of an X. Think about the X chromosome opposed to the Y chromosome. But I get it, Don. I've heard you enough times to realize you're at peace with yourself. Most people aren't.
But
Now,
what's wrong with, I was going to ask you, what's wrong with most people not being at peace with themselves? Why do you feel the need to point that out? Why is it a problem? Or is it a problem that people are experiencing life the way they are?
Mm-hmm. I don't go out of my way to force a person to talk, but when I do hear other people talk, whether people that write information, let alone podcasts, or go on Streamline, I'm like, okay, so you're bringing in one energy. Are you going to bring the other parts of the energies in the equation so you can have a fair shake with yourself when you're having these conversations with others? If not, people are just projecting their information. I said, okay, so how does that serve you? Now, I get it. I'm playing with words here. Somebody that thinks there's something wrong, I said, well, then the issue might be, or the solution might be, what is right about things. That's just people playing outcomes, right or wrong, opposed to how would it serve if you did or didn't vote? How would it serve whether or not we did or didn't go to the moon? You got to at least bring those two possibilities in there. Well, how is it if you're just negative or positive? Because last time I remember, I have to look at a simple example. Then how did we get the technology called a car and its battery? What is it to be knowledgeable, let alone belief systems? Now, I'm just sharing out loud, Don. This is me being my student. I'm just doing it out loud. I'm bouncing that off to other people. But that gift is always mine. It's not theirs. It's mine. I don't own the language, but I'm putting it in a way that I can make it personalized. Other people will either reveal themselves and say, well, I'm what? You're gonna challenge me on it? You can challenge the words, but challenging me would be a waste of energy. I don't challenge other people. And when I feel as though they think they're being challenged, I said, so do I have to personalize it for you? Because to me, it's personal with me. For you, I'm figuring do whatever you think is best. I'll hear you, hence respect. I'll hear you, but I won't say I agree or disagree with you, because then that's about me now. So now I'm just sharing. We're living in an age of information. It's not like as all of us are saying, listen, Rami's an exception to the rule. I've read a lot of books. I've done a lot of research via that kind of technology or that information. So now we're going to get together and we're going to communicate. There's a lot of people that are listening to information So now we can share how we perceive it. I'm not going to argue with somebody else about how they see the sunset, but that's what most people do. And when I say most people, I've heard that. Maybe I'm attracted to that type of person because that's what I need to learn from. Now, I can be very calm in the way I explain myself. I can be very agitated by it. But I also have to factor in where the moon is too, I guess, at that point. But I do enjoy the way you share yourself, Don. And I think it's beautiful. It's just I have to be honest with myself. I'm not always that way, but I resonate those parts that it is with me. But for a lot of folks, I'm going to make a grand assumption. They're not there. Talking
not
about,
where?
go ahead, Don.
I'm sorry, they're not where? You mean the way that I speak? They're not, they don't view it the same way, you mean?
No, I get a sense from you, you're at peace with your decisions, the way you want to live.
Absolutely.
But a lot of people aren't. And I have to respect what's, go ahead, sir, Don.
Sorry, what's wrong with them not being at peace?
Not wrong. That's the whole thing. I'm just hearing them. I'm just throwing other different interpretations out there. I don't live always in harmony, but I know there's moments I can have that. But then there's other moments I would like to know I can, it's kind of like talking in a safe space. Safe space shouldn't just be about, I'm only going to talk in a very monotone voice. Safe space can also be, I could say things that might be very erroneously, very harmful, but yet other people can, the ones that choose to be there, say, Dominic, I'm okay with being in that environment. I'm not going to live it all the time. I don't have to, room up with you, but that's what respect really is for me. This is me talking now. I'll hear another person, Dom, I believe in aliens. Okay. Would you like to elaborate? Well, do you agree with? No, I don't care if I agree or disagree. Please share. Dom, I believe in child violation. Okay. Not say I'm going to practice that, but please share. Because we might find out there's something going on in that person that's made them make that decision. I'm not there to say it's right or wrong. Because I don't know their story. And even if I did know the story, who am I to judge them? But people do judge when they say I like or dislike, or I agree or disagree, but yet openly say things like I don't judge. I said, really? Well, then you're really not doing discernment then. Because of discernment, you would realize you're judging in that moment. And how does it serve? That's all. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. How does it serve?
We constantly judge. That's everything that we do on
I'm
this
with
planet.
you.
We choose.
Some
we
are
judge.
perceivers, some are judgers.
Thank you. Yeah, Rami. And we might have those moments. So if there's people out there, we'll call them the elite, and they're doing whatever they're doing, then who are us to throw the first stone at them kind of biblically? I'd be more curious. Okay, so you are doing all of this, you believe in satanic and all that. Would you like to elaborate? If somebody said to me, Dominic, I'm a mechanic, I'm like, okay, can you explain to me a little bit what you do as a mechanic? Because I might need your service later.
Let's push in, and because mechanic is an excellent example, because first thing you do as a mechanic is you got to diagnose the problem. In order to diagnose the problem, you got to set aside your biases and look at the actualities of the situation in order to try to pinpoint exactly where the squeak is coming from, for instance. But there is also judgment is a necessary function in society. So each has its values. Would we be as safe, as prosperous, as well managed if there weren't those who are making judgments, not just in their own going about their individual lives, but also upon others? Because we have to determine, do we want a society where in a neighborhood full of 3- and 5-year-old children, there are 2 rainbow flags? One has the letter P on it for pedophilia, and the other has the letter Z on it for zoophilia, so they're promoting sex with animals and sex with children at the same time in a neighborhood with small children. That's, by the way, one of the reasons why we left Orlando, because we were seeing that in our own little neighborhood. So,
Were they tapping in? But maybe on that point, Rami, they're trying to tap into people's subconscious with all that kind of signals or symbols. Picked it up and you observed it and you did the correct, or you thought you did the healthy thing by removing yourself from that environment?
yeah, I mean, this is why the Bible has such longevity, because you have these stories, these cases from a history, or at least a mythology of a Sodom and Gomorrah, where and you know, not just the Bible. You have the case of Greek culture. Why did they stop being such a dominant force? Certainly they left their mark, but they were also casually and normalized having sex with boys. Men were on a regular basis, and you know, things just went downhill from there, didn't it?
Well, I think what a lot of that reveals is our energies with our lower chakras, regardless of what species you're doing it with. You know, I'm going to share something I rarely share, but I value the concept that there's a God out there. That God is very patient and indifference, where if it's going to interfere with human affairs, well, then why didn't it interfere with animal affairs or insect? So if you're a parent and you truly realize, I love my children, regardless of their gender preference, what behaviors they do, because patience is love. But for a lot of folks, they figure that a God should be a God of judgment. I'm like, okay, so are they the offsprings at that point? Because then we're actually, again, projecting gods in our image, I think, and the gods must be judges like us. A jealous God to me is more of a demigod. You know, why are you judging me then? Especially if you created me. Oh, wait a second, you didn't create me. You're a sub-creation. And that's me sharing that information. So who am I to tell other people what to do or not? Now, I know I have moments of frustrations and anger. That's on me. Now, other people don't have to be around that. But then again, most people will be around other people that give all nice compliments. I said, aren't you forming another form of an attachment then at that point? The word mint gives it away. So go ahead, sorry.
So I disagree with one of your characterizations. That's okay. And I think I saw your point while listening to you further in thinking that God is indifferent. C.S. Lewis, I think it was him who stated that consciousness is the greatest clue of there being a God. If why did I say that? I don't think that God is indifferent to things like abuse. However, because God is this being that's immaterial, unembodied, except for in the hearts and minds of believers, I see the function of God as one that has to take place and is carried out through persons made in the image of the same. So it's not, for me to say God is indifferent, I'd say I look at that statement and I see it as a bit of a cop-out, because if we're formed in the image of an indifferent God, that means that we have the license to be ourselves indifferent, which to me seems a bit Canadian, but maybe that's not your fault. So
I'm with you, Rami. I did make it personal, and I said
You
for me,
said it seems a bit Canadian.
but I lean. That's my faith in the unknown. For some people, they need to prove that, which is fine. I can't prove that to other people. So when I usually say I'm going to share something, I rarely share it. This is me speaking now. This is me being in my lane. I always find it interesting, no offense, Rami, when people say they agree or disagree. I said, I'm talking about me. I'm just sharing out loud. If I think God's indifferent, that's my view. I don't have to go to Catholic or Mormon or Jehovah Witness. I said, I've done all that kind of information. I didn't have to become a professional and live it a lifespan. I value the concept of a God or gods. I even value the concept of Lord gods. I even value the concept of when Job was actually with Satan going to Lord. To me, that's not God. Mm-hmm. Now, they could be the Lord over, in this case, we're God, Lord over humans. I said, yes, but you're immortal to me.
So if I hear you, you're saying that the application of Lord or Lord usually comes from the Hebrew Y, H, or V, depending on which alphabet you're using, H, Y, or I'm sorry, I think I got W, Y. Mm-hmm. I'm sure I messed up those four letters that often is translated or spoken as Yahweh. So you're saying that that's a construct applied unto the Almighty.
There you go. You got the word con. Again, we're speaking with a language that has been so manipulated, whether it's Hebrew, Latin, Germanic, let alone reading it in a scroll form or book form, reading it from left to right or right to left. Again, this is something that came in within me. Now, I tripped over it, and I'm like, what the fuck am I, sorry, my language, what am I supposed to do with that information? information. Share it out loud, Dom. Why? Because as you share it out loud, you're going to hear yourself. Because I value the concept of speech. Because I understand the difference between speaking words opposed to written work. Now, some people don't actually even have to speak. They just go in a state of silence and stillness. But I've chosen that I want to share awareness. I could talk about electrical, it'd still be awareness. If I could explain to people 347 what it did to me, well, Dom, I disagree with you. I said, I'm telling you what I experienced with 347. But hey, if you want to tell me how you experienced, please share.
So
Yeah, I feel like yeah, I do see that, Dom. And then when you decide in a group to share out loud, which is what we're doing here, we're sharing out loud with each other. We're, a person responding their agreement or disagreement, even though you don't prefer those words, is them sharing. They're sharing what they see or feel about what you said. So I don't, I find I think it's great for sharing. What I think I get confused about is that when you share, sometimes it doesn't seem like you want a question. Like if I come back and question you on it, it seems like you just say, "Well, I'm just sharing." But if you're sharing it out loud in the group, are you open to maybe going a little deeper, or helping to someone to understand it a little better? That's what I want to ask.
you're on mute, Dominic.
Sorry, Rami, I thought you were going to share something. I know Don asked me a question, but
I wanted to give you the opportunity to respond to Don directly, because I'm sure she
okay.
would appreciate.
So for me, if I'm having a conversation with somebody, I'm usually I could use the word sharing. I could say the word I'm channeling. So now I'm talking with my subconscious mind, and I'm channeling outwards. So now if I'm sharing something and somebody says it resonates with me, okay, that's nice for you. But is there something you want to add on? When somebody says they agree or disagree, that's a closed-end response. There's nothing to add on to that. Now, if they turn around and say, Dominic, I would like to share something that I got from what you shared, go right ahead. But by telling me, well, Dominic, I disagree with you, that's like saying, you're wrong, or but, and then they want to continue on and said, please share me your side of the story, because I'm valuing the fact that other people have their own senses. And if they want to share, fine. But that caveat by saying I agree or disagree doesn't serve me. I don't go around telling other people. So I can only give to others what I want, what I would want to receive. Now, if that person wants to do that and say, Dominic, okay, when I share with other people, I expect them to what? Endorse you? I'm not interested in people endorsing me. I'm just sharing information. If I could explain to people how to become a trillionaire, I'm going to obviously project and I'm going to share that. Now, if somebody turns around and says, well, I disagree with you, I say, well, then how about you try to become a trillionaire and you tell me how your story runs out?
Well, I'll listen to you if you're first a trillionaire.
There you go. I'm not.
Well, it does serve me to hear if someone agrees or disagrees. And I would just suggest that even if a person shares it that way, the way that you are free to share freely in your way, allow others to share freely in their way. And of course, you're going to react to it the way you want. But I like hearing other people's perspective. And if they say they agree, I just accept that. I don't receive it the way that you do, but I accept that that's how you receive it. My comment to that would just be, perhaps you could allow it to come.
No, I
And
tolerate Don. I'll be honest. I tolerate it. Don, you've shared with me openly that you've practiced debating. You understand the rules and regulation of debating. If somebody started talking to me about crystals and I just turned around out of laziness, I think crystals full of shit. That'd be no different from me saying I disagree with it. Who am I to tell them that? I know enough to.
It's okay to tell them that.
No, but the thing is, Don, I know enough to communicate with other people. Sometimes I talk past people, but I know enough to say, if you want to share, I'll gladly hear you, but I'm always listening from within. And something will say from within, Dominic, it's none of your concern. So keep your mouth shut. I don't have to give people accolades.
That's you. That's you.
That's me, Don.
But if someone else chooses to do that, I don't see
them.
the purpose of ridiculing that and saying that, why are you doing that? And I don't need you to respond to me that way. I don't need that from you. But we're in a group. And so I just was trying to understand the purpose of shutting down someone's responding from themselves. Just like you say, that's you speaking. Well, that's someone else speaking as well. And their way of speaking is to share that they agreed with it and how they agreed with it. And I just didn't understand
That's
your
important to people,
reaction
Don.
seemed to be upset
Don,
about hearing
that's
that.
important. My frustration is usually if I'm trying to explain something, I want to explain it and I want it to just be heard. And then all of a sudden they interrupt a conversation to say I agree or disagree. I said, okay, so I'm trying to explain to this person how to actually pull out this heart out of this person. And you want to interrupt to say you agree with what instrument I'm using? Please do me a favor, keep quiet. That's one-on-one behavior. I'm not frustrated because a person agrees or disagrees with me, because there's a shit more stuff I could share. And if they were listening from within, they said, know enough to realize somebody who just wants to share, whether it's for my benefit or for theirs, because when I'm in a group environment, it might not be for the 3 or 4 person that's there. It could just be for me, let alone somebody that's watching this. But unfortunately, most people have to, not most people, a lot of people have to put the caveat. Let me interrupt the conversation so I can say I agree or disagree. Okay. Tell me when you're done. Because obviously I wasn't done.
Well, that's a very interesting way to perceive, someone's response in that way, but it's not the only way. But it's a choice that you're making, and I'm not trying to change that. I just thought it was interesting. I'm glad you helped me to understand that's, really what you're just expressing. That's how you feel about hearing those words coming from a person, and you perceive it as if they're disruptive in a way. That's interesting to me. But anyway, yeah. Cool.
And guess who needs to learn about it? Disruption? Me, because I know I do that. So that's me attracting that stuff. So me getting upset, Dom, that's for you to figure out. Why? Because I know I
don't
can just
need
keep.
to figure it out.
No, I do. I do, Don. It's always about me. That's why when I tell people, most of us are self-absorbed. I'm actually talking from a projection. I know myself when I'm self-absorbed, but I try to be rationally selfish when I consider other people. The information I have is not mine. Whether I listen to a podcast or I downloaded the information spiritually, it's not mine to own. It's mine to share if I choose to. But those are my words. Other people might say, well, Dominic, I own the language. Oh, okay. I have a whole bunch of questions. Now, why? It's like you saying you own land. I got a bunch of questions. If you own land, then my first question would be, do you pay property tax? Well, yeah. I said, well, then that doesn't really mean you own land. But hey, let's continue this conversation. I get it. It's easy to say I own anything. Then you're saying that you're right. Okay, so I got questions to ask. If I met aliens, I wouldn't be concerned about, I'm going to leave with you. No, I got a shitload of questions to ask. I know me well enough. I have a bunch of questions to ask. They might say, why are you going to ask? And if I answer all your questions, you're going to leave. I said, no, I have a whole bunch of questions. You're assuming that I'm going to leave with you.
It's a toddler who'll go, mine, 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 mine.
Yeah, that's true. There you go. You caught that, Rami. Thank you.
There's to channel someone else's writing. I don't know what his religious or upbringing affiliation was, but he was speaking of different sets of Jews and the political level of political involvement based upon their system of belief. So in the case of the Orthodox Jew, God does everything. In the case of the liberal Jew, God sets forth the direction, but then it's up to you to do all the work. In the case of the conservative Jew, maybe some things you leave up to God and some things you leave up to, you actually have to do, okay? And then it becomes a question in between the site of the injustice and the action, determining what the appropriate response in that situation will be. And we all are facing that kind of question every day, every instance, if we're conscious.
Yes. Hmm.
As usual, thanks, Rami, for your insights. especially when I know you do hear other people. I know in past I've always, in some areas I was very resistant, but that because I was trying to still learn for myself how I perceive information, let alone how I perceive others.
I got shampoo.
Baby shampoo, Johnson's Johnson.
Yeah, I'll take a shower and put it on. Come out looking like a baby.
Hi, Ro. Oh, now we get to see you take a see. We saw you pooping,
Now you get to
brushing
see
your
me take a
teeth.
shower.
Now we're gonna take a shower like a baby.
Yeah, the laughing Buddha that comes to mind when I hear the way you share with us. Thank you.
So
Thank you, Dominic, for stirring things up.
yes,
For
thank you.
sharing.
You're
Thank you,
the
Rami.
beginning of our group.
Thank you, Rami, for disagreeing for Dominic. At certain points.
There are other points that I let go. As cultures, as societies, as communities, as groups, are we existing in states? I mean, almost in a breathing way of between degeneration and regeneration.
I missed that last part, Rami. Can you say that?
Are we, as whatever you want to refer to as collections of human beings, existing within alternating states of degeneration and regeneration?
Can you elaborate on the regeneration and
Right.
generation?
Regeneration could mean getting back to first principles, restudying and reapplying the fundamentals within individual and communal lives.
Is that a yes or no answer?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Kind of question?
I'm pretty sure Rami could break that
Do
down.
you want to answer it? It's an open question, so.
It's an open question. It's an infinite question, not finite.
A lot of the American experience is based upon Rome and Greece because it's sort of the inherited and carrying forward of the Greco and the Roman cultures. And as we stopped being a Christian nation and became more of a free-for-all, I noticed that we did very much go back into the same habits that Rome and Greece were doing, especially Greece, in that we've been on this path, or at least we were for a while, on a path of normalizing having sex with boys again, for instance.
Dominic disagrees.
Generative.
Dominic disagrees when you said a Christian nation. We were never a Christian nation.
I never said that, but hey, carry on.
Let's say
okay, I disagree.
A nation of majority Christians. The structure of government may have been secular in form and for good cause, given the history of Europe.
I think
I wrote that I disagree.
In care of Dominic. I think Dominic
using my name in vain now, are you? We're back to using God's name in vain.
Dominic disagrees with me using his name.
I think what happens, Rami, I hear certain words and I try to break it down. There's the human aspect and then the being part. A lot of us are struggling. We have a puppy mill mentality. We spend an enormous amount of energy on the material part. And then when it comes to our, mental and emotional developments, hence Christ consciousness, a lot of people really don't put any effort into that. Mm-hmm. So some people that get triggered usually get triggered emotionally, probably usually positive, and then they respond negatively when they hear something negative. And intellectually, you get the person that's very smart, but yet have to grandstand based on they got 1 degree, and that's really revealing that they're not intellectual. So the degrading that you're talking about is a lot of us aren't really forming a relationship within ourselves. So then how would that look like outside? Well, we have wars, we have people that are divide and conquer, we have Christians, we have Muslims, we have communism, we have capitalism. You know, and those are just two dogmas, state and religion. And then they do the same thing with currency, you know, in this case, fiat currency. You know, so that we've never really showed that we're united with each other. Consistent could be, okay, we're in these physical forms, but even that, if you start looking at it, are we the same because we're in different colors of skin? Are we the same because we're similar in blood types? You know, there's a lot of effort that has to be done in all that. And a schooling or university system cannot really teach that. It can give you some outlooks, but really the inlook should be done inwards. Hence the teacher-student relationship is always done from within.
Are you familiar with E.F. Schumacher's book, or just the idea that small is beautiful? Because I think in small communities, at least, I mean, small communities can go wrong too, but I think the greatest hope and the greatest sense and example of regenerative sets and groups. I mean, America, being that it vacillates and it's a very religious country, for instance, it's had several great awakenings, first, second, third. It's all in our history, and then there were a series of revivals throughout the 20th century, maybe even dipping into the 19th. And I think in the small communities, again, you have these people who are desirous of and who are going to work towards, at least within their own monkey space, if you're familiar with that concept, the communities of the people that they can reach out and touch. They are working to try to get to whatever the pinnacle and height of healthy, not just individual, but communal living at the same time. I don't know that process necessarily scales or how it can have the effect, but you got to start with the small and prove it at that level to get anywhere. If distributed communities throughout the globe are doing that, then that's how the regeneration is about.
Yeah, if you're talking probably of regenerating our human forms and maybe tapping in on the emotional mental part, you know, but it seems, you know, especially if take it with a grain of salt, what history, pen to paper, has shown, that it usually goes by the wayside. It's very erroneous to think that the human race will ever unite with itself. And if it does, how does it look like? Are we going to start off being very destructive first and then being very constructive with each other? You know, there's a lot of division among us.
Even internally, we're mixed bags, are we not?
Yeah, that's very true. Yes, and that's where when I go inwards, I'm like, can you imagine how that looks outside? Especially when I realize in a conscious state, I'm never outside. Now, subconsciously, you know, people can play with the idea of astral traveling, remote viewing, and all that, but that opens up another question. Then who's really running the vessel? But when I'm in that conscious state, playing with my senses, I know I'm not out there. That's me knowing. You know, me trying to share with other people, I'm trying to play with discernment. Okay, Dom, so what game are you going to play with others? What do you mean? Because you're aware of it, but are they aware of it? Or they're just parroting information? I see a tree. I said, I've never seen the word tree, but hey, you want to call that thing a tree, you go right ahead, but then you have to explain, why can we use different variation of language to explain the same thing? It's kind of like looking at a hammer. A hammer could be used for many things. The masters might only use it to use it on a nail, but I'm going to use it to wedge the door open so my cat can come in and out. That's my view on it. Doesn't mean it's right or wrong. It just is. So again, philosophers have tried this. I'm probably philosophizing. There's people that are trying to understand it religiously, let alone, you know, state or even economically. That usually drives the human race, is economically. You know, you need to grow apples so you can barter with somebody else with oranges. If not, I'm just going to barter with my vessel. So I'm going to eat this apple. Are you going to tell me whether or not I need it? Probably not, but I'm still going to eat it. You know, again, who gives us all these different languages? You know, there'd be no different putting into program, into AI. Okay, you've advanced to a point. Now we're going to go into the backdrop. We're not going to tell you who your creator is. Oh, okay. So it's the same with us. Who is our creator? We can speculate and we can see some of the residue out there. Okay, no humans have ever created anything that can stay up in the sky like the sun and the moon. So that opens the door up for an alien, a god, or a reptilian, whatever word we want. But then there'll be people that are going to cult up and they say, yeah, but my God, Allah did this. My God, I am did that. My God, the jealous God did that. Okay. And at that point, I'm being entertained because they're sharing information. But can they actually prove it? That's like when the science says, listen, Here's a rock, it's 1,000,000 years old. I said, why don't you add a couple extra more zeros on it? It's a game that we play. It's a fun game, but it's when the person thinks they have the answer. I said, well, I'm going to sit back. I'll get some popcorn. I guess you got to prove it. Why? Because it benefits you. For me, I'm being entertained because there's nobody here today that's alive that can validate whether or not Jesus or Socrates existed. Only thing we can do is take written work. Are those people alive? Well, no. What about the people that rewritten it? They're the scholars. They're not alive. I said, okay, so then we're parroting information. You would have to go inwards at that point and say, Dom, how does this serve you? It doesn't. But I'll gladly hear other people. Sure, go ahead, Ron.
As I can see it from taking a survey of various cultures and their writings, there are essentially two views. One, I think, is illusionary. One says that all came essentially from primordial Adam. So in that way, we are all connected and share the same aspect in that we all come from. That's the original term that was used by, at least in the English language, by the Belgian priest, mathematician. I think he had a PhD in math, actually, who formulated what later became known as the Big Bang. And then in the Eastern Hindu aspect, you have these writings that state that the universe is eternal and always having existed. One of these positions, I mean, both I don't think can coexist. Either, and maybe it's a reflection of the bias of the side of the globe I was born into, or the family that I was born into. But I tend to believe that there is a start and that there is an end. And if it's eternal, like starting and ending, then that's something that we cannot necessarily know in this lifetime experimentally. So might as well treat it as if it is the case. But you could argue it from either side.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to argue, or people will argue based on both speculations. You know, it's always
Right.
fun when I hear somebody say, Dominic, I won't believe it until I see it. I said, well, at that point, if you see it, you're no longer talking about beliefs. You're talking about knowing. But now the question would be, what about the tree of life? Are you going to understand it, let alone have discernment, wisdom about it? So I know for myself, when I read information, I'm also acutely aware that the way I'm reading it is important, let alone understanding where the luminaries at this point. You know, that's why God created things and they called them signs. He never talked about time. That's a human creation. I'm going to get a thing and I'm going to gauge it with a clock and a watch. I said, so then how does the sun and the moon work? Let alone the father of the sun, which is called Ceres. This is where certain tribes understood about the day's cycles, 7-day week cycle opposed to a 10-day week cycle. So now when they talk about the three wars, it's because people understand to read the luminaries. And the difference between the luminaries and what gets manifested on earth, the word manifest plays a major role in that, is called time and space. Now, can you teach that to a human race? Probably not. Because they're going to fight with each other back and forth and say, my side of the egg is better than your side of the egg. What came first, the chicken or the egg? I said, what came first before the chicken and the egg? The word?
You would probably be into the writings of Charles Sanders Peirce. He was the father of semiotics, the study of signs.
I'm pretty sure he put a lot of effort, whoever he was. But again, I'm just sharing me. At this point, me is really insignificant in the equation. Me writing it down, knowing that, and this is just me talking, all the books should be burnt at this point. Because I understand the written work, what it can and cannot do.
Right.
Same with the spoken word. If we were able to communicate with human immortal beings, we would value more the spoken word, and then we would embody that information, hence mantras, because the spoken word takes in more receivers than the written work. The written work is usually information for the upper brain.
Yeah, well, understanding's the end, right? So in the case of in the original Hebrew story of the creation of the universe, God being the central character does these things. And in this Hebrew word, in most English Bibles, it's translated as day because it's a readily understandable cycle to a human being. But really, a closer term is cycle. So when God created this on this day, that would be in a God scale day, which later in the same collections of works, it stated that one day for God is like 1,000 to man. Well, that's a like, it's not a literal. It's an analogy going back to the use of this sort of imprecise term meaning cycle. So it could be that you could use the same Hebrew word to mean eon. So in this eon, this happened. In this eon, this happened. In this, it becomes very compliant with the scientific view of contemporary popular belief, because once you understand that the word was cycle, then and that you're not dealing with a literal rotation of the Earth around the sun, but that in this period, and in this period, and this period, all these things occur, then everything becomes very compliant and aligned at that point.
It aligns a little better because you bring in the energy, that the intention of the message, which is why spoken word, written word are falling away as we relearn energy, as we relearn how to communicate without that. And I'm not saying that it is, we're going to stop using that. I'm just saying that we are learning to reconnect with our feelings in another way. Because why? Words get in the way. Because your use of a word has a different meaning to me, has a different spirit, a different energy. And that is why our population is learning to move beyond that. And what happened during September 11th worldwide, when they took a look at the energy level on the planet and the unified focus, energy that we all had together collectively, because we were all focused on the same thing at one time. Words didn't matter at that point. It was about an understanding, an energy, an intention. And so I no longer give my focus, energy to the spoken word versus the written word. To me, they're all talking about the same thing, using different words. And I'm no longer allowing the words to create a divide. I'm focusing on the spirit, the energy.
I'm wondering, Don, if you could maybe perhaps lead us, put together a workshop on Hawaiian interpretive dance.
I don't.
Come down and learn to express ourselves through movement and energy.
I don't. But interestingly enough, last week I discovered a meetup group that is a lady in Homosassa, not far from me, that's giving hula classes. So I sent her a message. I'm seeing if she will respond, because I'm thinking about joining that class, because yeah, I would love that. And this week I got 2 care packages from home. One was a bunch of Hawaiian food that I ordered. It arrived on Thursday. And I got a package from my dad. I'll show you what I got. My favorite.
Is Homosassa near Orlando?
No, it's near me here in Citrus County. So now let me show you what I got from home.
Oh, nice. What is it? Something peanuts, red nori,
red iso. Iso peanut. Yeah, it's got nori. The peanut is inside a formed baked rice that has soy sauce on it. It's crunchy on the outside, has little bits of nori. It's so delicious. So I got that. I was so happy. I said, what, a package from Honolulu?
Hiroshi, do you have nori in Japan? Because Hawaii is such a mix of American and Japanese culture.
Yeah.
Nori,
Yes.
Yeah.
black pepper-like food.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
it's
have
yeah,
nori.
seaweed nori. This one was made in China, but the one I used to
Oh,
eat at home was made in Japan.
oh, that's good.
Yes, it's my favorite. So I cannot teach interpretive dance, but I do have some DVDs. I do have some hula lesson DVDs.
DVD?
DVD, yeah, no, that's an old word, right? DVD. Video discs.
Videos, yeah.
Can you believe it? DVD is now an old word.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if I take the hula lessons, then I'll be glad to share what I've learned.
Mm.
When I was a teenager, I did take some hula lessons in Hawaii and I learned a couple of songs, but
Mhm.
that was a long time ago. I'm old now.
Almost that is too far from me. 2 hours.
Come
Yeah,
on.
An
I'm
hour
an
is
hour and a
far
half
from
from
me.
you. I'm gonna come and
I
see you
take
soon,
I
Hyru.
was gonna take the class, the hula class, but it's too
Me too.
far.
But yeah.
I'll come to you, Hyro. I'll learn it and then I'll come teach you.
Teach me. All right. Yeah.
I'm getting older, Dom.
How
My
many
body is getting older.
times a month will the class be for you? Or whenever? Once
I don't know. I'm waiting to hear from her.
maybe it's once a week.
Yeah, I think it was weekly, but I'm waiting to hear from her because it didn't look like she had any signups.
Mm.
So, yeah. Sorry to distract us with that tidbit. You did it, Rami, when you asked for interpretive dance.
I'll take the blame.
Wow.
Yes. Thank you,
Quite
Rami.
quite an interpretive dance, that hula dancing.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I could get a hula hoop. That's good exercise and try to
Or,
keep it going.
I want
Yes.
to learn Maori, their dances in New Zealand.
Maori. Yeah, New Zealand are my, our Hawaiian cousins. And so the Maori are just the native, I guess you would call that the native or indigenous spirit of the
Is there
people.
um, uh, what are the popular forms of dance or theater or expressive art, Hiroshi, in Japan?
Well, Japanese people usually don't dance much. Maybe in summer
Okay.
festivals, Japanese people dance. Um, yeah,
Have you ever participated in any?
when I was a kid.
Oh, okay. Do you think they'll come back? Do they still exist?
I don't know. It depends on where you live. I think in the countryside they still have festivals and they dance at summer in
Oh,
summer.
oh, it's great because one can always get back in touch with their childhood, or I mean, whenever you're using the whole body, you become more than what you would be just sitting at a desk.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
Well, it's already 11:30. I've been on this call for 3 hours. I've missed you guys.
So good to see you this morning, Don. Thank you.
Yes, and so I will plan to come and visit you soon, Rami, and I'll plan to visit you, Hyro, soon. And yeah, many blessings to you and your family, Hyro, through this time.
You it's a new dawn. It's a new dawning.
It's a dawning of a new day.
Thanks for dropping by.
Yes, I miss
Thank
you. I
you,
love
Dominic.
you.
Don and Dom. Don and Dom and Rom. Dom and Rom and Hero.
And hi, Rome.
I no I nadie.
All right, have a good weekend. Bye.
Later, Don.
Bye.
Hi Don. Thank you for dropping by, Don.
I think I'm going to drop out as well. Have a wonderful week. Hope to see you all again next week or whenever we do. I look forward to
Thank
it.
you, Rami, for dropping by, for disagreeing with Dominic again.
God bless you, and
The right
I'm
moment.
available for you whenever you need chat or call. And if I'm not answering, I'll get back to you. I will respond.
Thank you. So nice.
Later, Tommy.
Oh, let me show my face. Where's my face?
I guess it's my turn now. I guess I'm going to be taking off soon myself. Hyro,
Oh, thank
again,
you, Dom, for
sorry
dropping by. It's been a long
Bye.
time. I'm glad you're still alive.
and I'm sorry for your loss, for your mom.
Here.
Beautiful woman she was.
Thank you.
Harasaki, I hope I pronounce it somewhat close. Have a beautiful day wherever you are.
Bye, Dom.
And now it's my turn to say goodbye.
It's your turn
Bye.
to say, hey, Roshi, thank you. So you can go to bed
Mm.
and have a nice
Have a good day.
dream.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you for dropping by. Bye. I have to say goodbye too. Thank you for watching. I hope it was very interesting. Everyone, anyone, someone. Till next time. Wake up and think clearly, folks. Bye. The end button.